I should wear my glasses too.
Yeah, I got bad eyesight.
There we
Look
go.
at us. Bunch of anime nerds with our glasses on over here and everything.
Mm.
What
Blue
is
light though,
going on?
because my eyesight's not that bad yet.
Mm.
Anime Heads, welcome to episode 16 of Eat the Cake Anime, a special brunch edition, as you can tell by the mimosas we got here, right?
Yeah.
And we decided to do this earlier than normal, or later if you were expecting us last Thursday. But our girl Jackie be having to work nights. She is sacrificing her sleep, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you know how selfless she is to give you the great content we have in store for you today. But it's award season. You guys all seen what Crunchyroll said was the best of the best. And of course, people had things to say all across the internet. So we thought it'd be time for us to give our thoughts on the winners and losers of the Crunchyroll Awards, and also talk about some of these other companies and other industries that also have their awards and see who they chose as their winners. But we don't have shots, so before we do the intro, a little cheers of the
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers.
And good morning.
Ohayo.
And without further
Ohayou
ado,
gozaimasu.
let's start the show.
The following is a presentation of the That Feeling Podcast Network, reminding you to always question the answers.
Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Eat it. Eat the cake. Yeah. Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Well, all right. I bet you thought you stumbled on another podcast. Of course you're right, but let me tell you about the contrast. It's really different, not an exit from the Comcast. We cover anime today and other times past. Listen and learn in that order, then replay. Be entertained by Mac, Jackie, and EJ. Three hoes doing way more than the most, proving you can pay the lion, but it's all in the approach. Originals and sequels, the newbies and the Ichigos. The world's up in flames to the ones more peaceful. The weapons or the Shuto, manga, Naruto, Monkey D. Luffy, and a lot more that you know. Subscribe, hit the like, give the algorithm life once. We trying to get the same pie that Apple took a bite from. Join the conversation, let us know if you can relate. If not, you still might be forced to eat the cake. Anime, hey, hey, eat the cake. Hey, hey, anime, eat the cake. Anime, eat the cake. Anime, hey, hey, eat the cake. Hey, hey, anime, eat the cake. Anime, eat the cake. Anime.
Welcome back. And I did this dope transition. Because we're talking awards, the background kind of looks a little too, ordinary and stuff. I think we need to church it up a little bit, spice it up a bit. So let us proceed into our award season background.
Love it.
That's nice.
I feel
I
like I should
really-
be wearing a meat suit. Awesome.
I should go change.
I should have dressed better. Yeah.
Dress better. Just had a bow tie on.
A clip on right there.
Super. Do you think Vogue would
The
make
little-
me the #1 dressed right now with my cat?
There you
hat?
go. Exactly.
The
I
little
think so.
Tuxedo shirt.
Yeah.
So
Being
like
classy.
like we talked about, for whatever reason, Crunchyroll decided to have their anime awards halfway through the year for last year. And I had to look it up because normally the way these shows go, there's a cutoff for consideration and all that. This year, they changed it. Normally, Crunchyroll will cut off your consideration for anime of the year on September 30th. So anything premiering after September 30th will be considered for the next following year. This year, they waited till 31 December 2004. So they used the whole calendar year, and I guess that's why it took so long to give people time to vote.
They also included 2023 fall season.
Yeah. So everything that happened after 20 or
September
So
2023.
it was a lot.
Yeah,
to
so that way
consider.
that fall season wasn't left out.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's where we're at when it comes to that. But we'll get into it. I'll bring it up on the screen so we can see exactly what Crunchyroll was talking about. Ooh. Share screen, add the stage. So as you see here, the full list. The biggest one, I think, people, and we'll get right into it, right? But before we start talking, you guys saw kind of how the overall selections went. General thoughts on the awards before we start getting to them kind of one by one. We'll start with Jackie. What you think?
So I did not watch the awards show just due to timing.
Right.
However, when I saw the list come out, I was quite disappointed. I'm not gonna lie.
Which one stood out to you the most?
I think what the most frustrating part is, and I hate this because I feel like I'm a hypocrite when I say this. I love Solo Leveling, and I hyped it up just as much as pretty much 95% of the population. However, I am not ignorant enough to not know that there are certain things of it that are not the best overall, like best main voice or the best opening sequence. Like, I think there's just things about it that I also looked into like how the nominees were selected, because that was my question when I looked at all this. Is like, how were the nominees even selected in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that made me more mad than the actual like choice of the winners, because then it makes perfect sense why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a little frustrating because I didn't watch everything this year, so I unfortunately I did not sit down and like take the time to like be able to look at everything
right
before knowing like what was going to be nominees. But even then, not knowing, hearing from what other people have talked about, knowing what was always on my For You page or to watch page, and then not seeing even some of those selected or in nominees was what was more shocking and disappointing. And then just seeing Solo Leveling sweep pretty much almost every category, which I also wasn't surprised about, just because it looked like a popularity contest of people who spam the voting polls rather than an actual intellectual process of, all right, how did the director and the creator come together to make this anime into like what it is, from not only the composition of the music but also the animation and the story overall. So that's I think where I was a little frustrated is I didn't start tuning into the awards and think until like really 2020, when they started back in 2017. But even when I was doing some research, it just seems like it's been changing a lot over time, and it's getting worse.
Yeah. What do you think, Eric? Initial thoughts when you started seeing results?
I know we talked a little bit offline. Overall, I would say it's a mixed bag. I understand it's fan driven as far as the selection process went for a lot of Crunchyroll. I too, along with Jackie, came into this a little bit disappointed in the range that they provided. Only in a few categories that I recognize. A lot of those that I feel were on people's radar this whole year. You know, things that popped up or things we found interesting, things we threw out as eat the cake to individuals like, hey, check this out. You know, some of it didn't even get a nomination, and I'm surprised. And I felt like it was shallow as far as the selection. And I think the biggest thing for me, you know, is that I'm not sure the impact that these award shows actually have, but I know the industry does look, you know, because the industry is always trying to be ready for what's coming up and what people want, and try to get a gauge for that off of these fan-based, you know, opinions. And when you have the fan-based opinions, just kind of like was mentioned, just spamming a vote for something that you thought was really cool, Yeah, I feel like some of the after effect could be we lose the originality or the inventiveness of some of these other shows because the industry's going to look at it as, so what you want from me is just blazing action, very little content. And I feel like that's what we get ended up with, and a lot of these selections was just a rubber stamp. Hey, everyone loves this. It's the winner. Everyone loves this. It's the winner. Instead of kind of just taking a moment to, like Jackie had mentioned, and intellectualize or really look at, are we looking at the characters depth, or are we just going, yo, that battle was awesome, and rubber stamp it, so um disappointment is definitely there, but I felt kind of mediocre. I see in some categories where people actually put in the little bit of effort, but overall to see a sweep like this, when anyone who watches on a regular basis is kind of knowledgeable to the fact that this, there's so much more out there. There's so much more that could have been given a chance or even looked at. And to see the nominations still are pretty much cookie cutter nominations for each category, is the same ones that were like the top 5. Then that's why I was like, that's my feel on it.
Yeah. Um, I'm along the same way, and like you said, Jackie, when it comes to Crunchyroll, it's just a fan driven thing. It's a popularity contest. They don't really have a group of quote unquote judges, or like me and Eric were talking about offline, the Academy, who sits there and watches each nominated. I think it's easier for movies because you're just sitting there watching, a 2-hour movie, 3-hour movie, and like, hey, this was dope or this wasn't it. For this, you're trying to have people watch full seasons of certain things, and the amount of categories and the amount of anime that they would have to watch to actually give an intelligent, just the number of categories in this thing. It's like, geez, man, like, nobody's really
I mean,
watching.
it's
All of this
essentially
stuff.
like the Grammys or the Oscars
It's just
for
so many
anime. But
categories.
the difference is what they do at the Grammys and the Oscars, and I'm not saying that there probably isn't some shady shit that also goes on behind the scenes
Yeah.
for that too. But it definitely is more, from what I researched, it seems more organized and by a panel of experts that's going through and making these decisions. It's not just the population of the entire world making the decisions of like what they think is most popular via a voting button on a website.
Yeah. So we'll just get right into it, and I think it leads right off with because like you see all the categories here. It's like,
Well, are we gonna go through each?
no. Like I
No.
doubt we want to talk about the best voice artist performance in Italian.
Yeah.
That is literally where I put my most research into. What are we talking about here?
That's where I dedicated all my time.
Allora.
It's a me, Tanjiro. Like what? But this one here, Anime of the Year, Solo Leveling, was the winner. You had your nominees, which were pretty much all the kind of big hitters. Dan to Dan, of course, Delicious in Dungeon, Frieren, Kaiju number 8, Solo Leveling, of course, as the winner, and the Apocryphy Diaries. Any gripes with this one? We'll start with Jackie.
No, I actually looked. I might have gone too. I might have went down a rabbit hole for a lot of this shit. So I went, and not only did I do stare at this and just kind of be a little angry, but also I got all the ratings for all of the anime that were all the nominees, and it was just across a bunch of different websites. But I also looked at all of the anime that came out that year too that could have been a part of this nomination list. And what I wrote on here for this is, I'm not surprised that this won. The only thing that kind of makes me a little upset is I love the Apothecary Diaries. I think that it's really great. Do I think that it should have been a nominee for Anime of the Year? No, because other anime that I think that was a little bit or a lot more solid, I don't got a love, and we'll see it throughout these next few or pretty much all of the not subjects, categories, is Shangri-La Frontier. That's one of the big ones. and I'm gonna put ReZero out there because ReZero's like season 3 this year was absolutely insane and just
Mm.
continues to hit as an isekai. And that was only my biggest gripe. I think the other ones I think deserve to be up there for anime of the year, but the big one was Apothecary Diaries because that one's I don't think that was a anime should have been an anime of the year nominee.
So you would have replaced Apothecary Diaries with either
Shangri-La
ReZero,
Frontier
Shangri-La?
for sure.
Okay.
And then I don't think I would have picked Solo Leveling as much as I love it. I think that the top 3 that I think should have battled it out was Kaiju, Frieren, and Dandadan, personally. And then I almost think that it should have been between I don't know. This is hard. I think Frieren or Dandadan, and I think that it would have been if I think of everything, Dandadan.
Okay. What about you, EJ?
I agree with a lot with what Jackie had mentioned, especially that others could have been on this list. Some of the others that have we've gone over before. Do I feel Solo Leveling should have won? I feel like it in the category who it was up against. It maybe it's a fair selection, but I mean, I do feel like Dan to Dan probably was a little more in my vein of interest. Basically, more character development, more interesting delves into the story. And I do feel like Frieren, I mean, story wise, blows a lot out of the water. But we're gonna get to those later as to you know categories they definitely should have won or what
Mhm.
overall anime of the year. Solo Leveling, I would say I I disagree, but I can accept it because of the fact of its popularity.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
do
and I
agree.
also
Apothecary Diaries really, I didn't feel like it belonged on Anime of the Year. Is it a good anime? Yes. Does it deserve recognition? Somewhere, yes, for what it provides, but it's not in comparison to these others that it's on the board with. I feel like it did boil down to the same picks as Jackie said, Frieren and Dan to Dan. And Solo Leveling probably would have been my top 3 of those. Not saying Kaiju number 8 wasn't as or a great series, but as far as being great art, great action, great music, and so forth, I feel those
yeah,
3 kind of held the ground better. And but I probably would have went with Frieren overall, just because I'm more of a story person,
yeah.
and the characters and the depth and the meticulousness of time that they put in. Yeah, you're talking about action sequences with Solo Leveling are gorgeous. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's some of the
sick.
best. But Freerin can have a whole episode where you're just watching her collect flowers, and you're stuck to it because of the fact that they make it um, vibe with you. It has a
Mhm.
feel. So um, that is how I feel. What do you got?
Yeah, yeah, sorry, I wanted to say really quick, when I was looking up the categories too, because I didn't know, like, how these nominees were selected and if there was actual criteria
Mhm.
first before they went into it, and when I Googled it, like, there isn't, like, a specific criteria to make it anime of the year. They just and I don't know if you guys looked this up or for how the nominees are selected, but they just select random people from around the world. They might be a fan, someone that's, like, got extensive knowledge, if you will, for whatever they think that is an anime. Maybe
Mhm.
it's a director, or maybe it's, like from what I read, it said someone that wouldn't be biased from different studios, which I don't understand what that means because when you have a bunch of anime that's up in all the studios that are out there, if you're gonna pull anyone that has extensive knowledge, you're gonna be biased to one of the studios. And then these nominees just pick what they think are the top nominees based off of their own opinions, and then they put the list up, and then from there, everyone gets to vote once a day. And as soon as I found that out, I was like, "Oh, well, yeah, there you go. That's why Solo Leveling won," because at that point, like, no one's considering, like, the story or, character progression. It's now just like, "I this anime is so cool, and because I watched the man or read the manhwa, it's even more sick, and I've been hyping this up for years, so this needs to be anime of the year." And so that's why it makes sense to me why this got anime of the year.
Yeah, I'm on board with you guys. And when you look at anime of the year, I'm thinking you're looking at the totality. If there's good action, good storytelling, good direction, good art, background, voice character, all of that stuff comes into play. So essentially, the dumbed down version, how I would look at it is, if I'm going through the rest of these categories and I'm not seeing Solo Leveling pick up best art design, best director, best voice actor, best story, like I'm just, so how's this anime of the year? Like, this might as well just be fans' choice, which essentially all of these end up being fans' choice because you just have fans coming back voting every day. And it essentially turns the Crunchyroll Anime Awards into like the MTV, music awards or something like that, where like fans go on MTV and they're voting for their favorite or whatever. So, was I expecting anything else? No, because I mean, the minute this becomes the highest rated anime in Crunchyroll history, every 4.89 stars or so, 4.7 or 79 stars. It's just like everybody's on board with it. A lot of the pop culture sites were talking about it, how it was breaking the internet. So when it starts crossing genres from just a anime coveted thing to like pop culture, almost like how Demon Slayer has done, you can't help but just expect this to get all the votes for anime of the year. So, but yeah, Apothecary Diaries, I think they set them up. I mean, I don't even think
They were Fall Guys.
like you said, this is just certain things. Like, you're not going to put, a slice of life anime up in anime of the year when you got Dan to Dan, Free Ren Kaiju, So maybe
Yeah, you're not gonna put like what was it? The one that won that I haven't seen, but like Girls Band Cry. Apparently,
Right.
everyone has been raving about that
That's
this
not
year,
getting
and I'm not gonna
thrown
lie,
out.
I never heard of it until the awards.
Yeah. But yeah, so we can understand. I think that's the consensus. We can understand how Solo Leveling got anime of the year. Do we agree it should have won? No, but I'm not gonna stand on a hill and fight anybody about the decision.
I'll fight.
You will?
I'll fight. I will.
I think that Willie brought up a
What's
really
that?
great point. If you're going to get anime of the year, then you probably should have director of the year,
Yeah.
character of the year, action sequence of the year, or music of the year. You should have multiple categories. And I know we're kind of seeing that here, but it doesn't match up. That's where the part where I think it loses out. When Willie said, if you get this, it only makes sense that you had these to back it up. They did give those, but they didn't, compared to its, other nominees, it is not winner in those categories.
They should have made this category, like you said, Willie. It should have just been fan pick. They should have a category that says fan pick, and then that's the only category, and then everyone spams. Like, they have top 10, and it's the top 10 that were like the top 10 of the year that were rated a 4.8 or higher on Crunchyroll for that year, or maintain a consistent 4.8, and then people can just spam as much as they freaking want once a day.
Yep, I agree. Next up, we got anime film of the year. I'm not sure if you guys checked out any of the films, but the winner was Look Back, which was consensus across a couple of the other anime awards that I saw. But you also had the Haiku, the Dumpster Battle, Look Back, Mononoke the movie, My Hero Academia, You're Next, Spy Family, Code White, and The Colors Within. The only one that I've seen two. I've seen the Haiku one and I've seen the Spy Family one. The Spy Family one I thought was amazing, but
That's what I heard.
again, I'm not.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the trailer though for Look Back,
Yeah.
I, even without seeing like the other ones, I was like, this looks like it's gonna be freaking good. Like the art style. I
Same.
even listened to the soundtrack last night. I haven't even watched it.
Same.
And I was like, this is okay. Even without watching it and seeing the art style, just the original story with it too, like money.
Yep. And like I said, anytime you have your anime films, the animation is going to be crazy because they put all the money into just this product here. So the Haiku one, like there were some action scenes in that one where I'm like, bro, this is dope. Same thing with the My Hero movies. Like they're so just off the the plantation.
They're not
or whatever.
canon.
They're not canon, but the fights in it, you're just like, bro, this is so amazing. But you can't really be invested in it because you're just like, there's no stakes, like the result of this fight isn't going to impact what's happening in the
Yeah, it's not like
actual
Demon
show.
Slayer
So
or Jujutsu Kaisen.
yep.
Yeah, I think that makes a huge difference. They fold that into the overall storyline, then of course it's going to have more weight, and you're going to be like, "This movie's so awesome," because it matters. But if it doesn't, it's just fun. You know what I mean? So when you have a lot of these movies, if they're not original, like Look Back, then they're kind of just not going to have that grab on you like the other. It doesn't hold on to you like
Yeah.
ones that have impact, like Demon Slayer's movie directly affected the storyline, so it has more of an impact. So I
Yep.
could see that then.
So like you said, Jackie, the best I could do is just look at some of the trailers for it, and Look Back was definitely one of those where I'm just like, where can I watch this at? When I have some time.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
also read a lot of Reddit forums too when I was looking through this just to see the consensus, and pretty much all the consensus was this movie.
Yep. Global Impact Award. I don't think this was more. This is like, I would assume, one of those when you have the lifetime achievement thing, and they give it to like Quincy Jones because you've been around for a while, or you have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you say that, but like I was wondering if there was any other nominees, and there was. Solo Leveling and Freerun were other nominees for this category.
Really?
Yes, I googled it because I was like, were there any other nominees for this? And apparently,
That's
Solo
crazy.
Leveling and Freerun were also
So it wasn't
on
a
this.
dated thing then, because I mean, my question would be if you can involve other like more recent stuff as far as their global impact. I don't know how many other animes have had TikTok dance sequences and everyone go crazy on Instagram copying intros and making videos like Dan to Dan.
Yeah.
The global impact Dan to Dan has had has skyrocketed it in the last 6 months to where, I mean, it's everywhere. People at movie theaters, like, you walk by and there's, 50-year-old person going, I can't wait till that comes out. Like, what? So you're like, Dan to Dan had that huge impact. You got other ones too. I mean, just to, I don't know about Solo Leveling having that level of impact because it's so new. You know what I mean? But, yeah, there's people out there going crazy for all sorts of. If it counts ones that are more recent than Attack on Titan, I don't see how Attack on Titan took the award because people went nuts when Bleach is gonna release Thousand Year Blood War. They're like, oh, I mean, people are crazy about Bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not saying it's better than Attack on Titan, but the global impact, Bleach has been out and impacting on people, clothing, video games, movies for more than a decade. And, people saw this come out and they were like, you got people putting shirts back on and hats back on and rewatching the whole series.
Yeah.
That's global impact. I mean,
Yeah.
across the board.
It says like some IMDb literally says the award aims to honor visionary creators and groundbreaking works that have left an indelible.
Yep.
I've never heard that word before. Mark on culture, history, in the hearts of audiences around the world. So that makes me even more mad.
Yeah, I mean,
That Solo Leveling was even considered.
yeah, why would that even
was
be
even considered a nominee, dude?
Like considering as a nominee, like, cool, I guess if you're looking to just throw some filler things in there, cool. But are you mad at Attack on Titan winning this or no?
No, absolutely
No.
not.
Okay.
I just
is
like
one of
I
the
think what
global
makes me more mad is just like
The just random ragtag, like you got this mammoth Attack on Titan, and here's Dan to Dan Solo Leveling.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
if I was the studio, like if I'm Science Zero, I'm just like, please don't put us up against this shit. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, we appreciate it, I guess, but you could have, like you said, long running things. Attack on Titan. How about we throw
Bleach,
One Piece, like
Yeah,
heavy
Bleach,
My
hitters,
Hero
things like that.
Academia.
100%.
Yeah,
Standing on, we're talking about pillars of anime, like One Piece. Good Lord. You're talking about global impact, I don't know if that's it. That my great grandkids are probably going to watch the season finale or the series finale of One Piece long after I'm dead and just bring it to my grave and be like, hey, this is what happened. But
Okay, they gotta finish this before I die, man.
I know you
And
can
Oda
you
is
can
also
commune
up
to
there
us with
in
a
age.
seance what happened. But I'm just saying, that's global impact. I don't
But
think
no, yeah, I agree. This was great. I was happy when I saw this, but I was confused because I didn't see it as a voting option. So this is what made me look up, like, were there other nominees? And when I saw that, I was like, what the
Yeah. Hopefully
Yeah.
this,
whatever, man?
and no disrespect, hopefully this was a wash when it came to the voting. I don't,
Yeah, I hope so.
hopefully this was a landslide because there's no way those other two, as good as the potential they have, is off the charts.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Yeah.
they'll have
Absolutely.
the full storytelling and the oohs, the ahs, the I can't believe it's that Attack on Titan had.
Yeah, because it's gone through its whole story.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how do you compare that to someone who just had one season drop or 2 seasons drop? I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So
Next up, best continuing and now this is where I'm just like, come on, guys. Best continuing anime series. So the winner of this one was Demon Slayer, the Hashira training arc. You had the nominees of Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, The Conflict, My Hero Academia season 7, where you have the final matchup between Deku and I forget old boy's name. That'd be Disintegrated. But if you're watching it, you're watching it. One Piece, which I have no idea what's going on right now, but Jackie will speak to that. Spy Family season 2, which was not as great as season 1 to me. And then one that I haven't seen, Oshino Ko, season
Yes.
2.
no.
All right. So, Jackie, your thoughts on the Hashira training arc winning best continuing series?
So I looked up, like, what could have been the other possible nominees out of this list. The only ones I can think of is like Konosuba, ReZero, Dr. Stone, and Classroom of the Elite. I think are the only, out of all the animes that were released in 2023 fall to 2024, I think those would be the only other 4 you could throw in here or be potential nominees. And so when you think, and that's just my opinion, you guys can let me know if you think differently. So if I think about that compared to everything else that's on here, I think the only thing I would take out is Spy Family and then replace that one with one of them. I think Dr. Stone did not get a lot of love, but I also haven't seen the most recent season, so I don't know how that went. When I Googled it, it seemed like it had mixed reviews from the audiences. Some people are saying it's getting repetitive, so that might make sense why it's not in this list. I'm not caught up to Bleach, but I can tell you right now, I don't think Demon Slayer should have got it. I think Demon Slayer's Hashir training arc was great. Like, a lot of people hate on it because it's a slow burn. But I mean, the ending was sick, sure, but it's just setting up for the next season that's about to be epic.
Yeah.
Bingo.
It's
I
setting you
don't
up
think
for the
there's
movies.
anything wrong with this season at all. Do I think it deserves to be up there as a contender? For sure. It's been ongoing. The entirety of the series is fantastic. I don't think it should have won. I think it should have either been. This is tough because I mean, I love One Piece. I think they purposely didn't pick One Piece because One Piece always sweeps every freaking year. And I think it's one of the ones that always wins best continuing. So they're like, nah, guys, like, or
Switch it up.
yeah, everyone else is like, not this again.
One Piece fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine. I get it. Like, also, like, One Piece kind of went on a break for a little bit, so I can. And also, yeah, I understand that. I'm surprised Bleach didn't win. That's what I'm surprised about, especially with it being the 1,000-year Blood War arc. Like, I was shocked that Demon Slayer won over Bleach.
Same. What you got, EJ? Thoughts?
You know, we've talked about this before. I love Demon Slayer. It's probably one of my favorite anime series of all time. But this season was a setup season. It was a season to build and invest in characters. And that's what it was. Was it the best season they've had? Absolutely not. Was it imperative to the future of Demon Slayer? Yes. Did it deserve to win this category? No. And the reason is, I go with Jackie. Bleach has been around forever. So if you're going to go with the best continuing series, now, to me, you should have at least 5 seasons or more, or been in order to be in this category, I feel. Because there are enough out there that would fall into that, And I feel like in this group, Bleach probably should have taken it. Very close, My Hero Academia, just because of the fan base, and it is held on 7th season. We're seeing the end, so that it's gunning out. It's putting out its best. So both of those, I feel, could have taken it instead of Demon Slayer. And boiling down to it, if I had to pick between My Hero or Bleach, Bleach would have won, just because of the fact we're talking about the best continuing series. It's been around. It's been around for long enough to where it should be considered one of the OGs, And this is an OG category. That's one that it should be winning, an OG show. Of course, One Piece, it's already been said. One Piece has won it enough times. It doesn't need it. It's kind of like when you're tired of watching the same team win the Super Bowl. Same thing. So
yes, I actually disagree. I think that if you are doing really great, though, it doesn't matter. Like, you can have all the other OGs. Like, if you're still doing good and you win it every year, like, if people are pissed about that, then do better.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
And I mean, if you can win by doing better, then absolutely. But in this category, you're not winning by doing better. You're winning by people still liking you.
But even like watching One Piece, like I loved it also this past year because it's getting into a really important arc. But comparing it to what I know about Bleach and how far Bleach has come and like what period it is in right now, like I even without being caught up yet, like I still agree, like should have been Bleach.
How about you, Willie? What did Demon Slayer deserve its award?
No. Is it a great anime? Yes. Did it have some of the most impactful episodes? Yes. Obviously, the arc or the couple of episodes talk about the Stone Hashira, his backstory to get to where he's at, why he's so resisted the violence, like violence last resort.
Yeah, that was a good
stuff.
Episode.
That was amazing to me. Seeing it, reading about it, and then you seeing it, you're just like, dude, this dude has gone through it. And then I will say the only reason this one, my opinion only, ladies and gentlemen, that final episode broke the internet.
Yep.
People lost their shit, and that's why they clicked on this one. Disregarding
it's recency bias.
Disregarding all. I wouldn't even say that because Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War was going on after Hashira arc.
No, I mean recency bias of the episode, like because it was the last episode, so they just disregarded everything else. They just focused on that one.
So you're voting on the best anime episode, essentially is what they're doing.
Yeah.
So was it bro? Tell me. I watched it twice. I watched it and immediately played it back. The animation, Ufotable went balls to the wall on that shit. If you haven't seen it, go watch it, and you'll see.
People did so many songs to it, Michael Jackson intros and other intros, like.
So then you're looking at, like I said, like in what Eric was talking about, you have these, Bleach that has started early 2000s up till now, continuing that story, and the animation changing up to be more modern. So now you're watching Bleach, the level of, I don't want to say just because of the gore and stuff, but you got legit tent poles and mainstays from previous stories of Bleach dying and not coming back. Big swings like that.
Real impact.
Which, spoiler alert, that's about to happen in these movies, for Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
My Hero, same thing. Like, you got people like it's getting real. Like, there's a point during My Hero where I'm just like, this anime has fallen off completely. And then like season 6 and 7, I'm just, thank you. Like, bring this back. This is what I need, So I'm with you, EJ. Like, I will never say nothing negative about Demon Slayer. I appreciate Ufotable kind of setting the bar when it comes to, hey, let's just not spread all our animators across different IPs. Let's focus on this. Make this the best thing out there. Set the bar. Put the world on what we do out here, and that just opens the door to solo leveling, to all of these new anime, Kaiju number 8, things that are now everybody's paying attention to anime and looking out for because of everything Ufotable's doing. However, I wouldn't even say the Swordsmith Village arc would be competition to these, Yeah. And that's no, I still enjoyed it, but I would give it to Bleach. That would just be my choice on this one. No shame to Demon Slayer, like I said, but when the voting works the way it does here, you can't only expect so much, And I think also Bleach not being on I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll now, because normally when I have to watch it, it's on either Hulu or on Disney Plus's version of what you call it, their anime that they barely advertise anyway. But normally when I watch Bleach, I just go watch it over on Hulu.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's on. I think I was looking it up. I think someone said it's on Crunchyroll now. The 1,000-Year Blood
1,000-Year
War.
Blood War.
I think I'm looking it up right now, but go ahead.
Okay.
I think they added it to Crunchyroll.
All right.
I'm not sure though. I haven't tried to.
And I mean, maybe that
No.
played into it. It's
Not
not on
there.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe that played into it as well. Like a lot of people are just like, well, it's not on Crunchyroll. I haven't seen it, and they don't take the opportunity to go look for it. So I'm thinking that may have something to do with it as well. Moving on to best new anime series. Again, Solo Leveling back up here. The nominees: Dan to Dan, Delicious in Dungeon, Frieren, Kaiju number 8, Solo Leveling the winner, and the Apocryphy Diaries. Which, correct me if weren't those the same?
Yes.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Now. Come on now. So
I
the best anime of the year was just introduced this year. That's what Crunchyroll is telling us.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thoughts, Jackie?
So I first, oh sorry, I was like, what is the difference in this category? Because I was like, why is this even here? But then I did have to be like, okay, actually there is a difference, because new anime is very much like this year. You could have a top anime of the year, and it could have been My Hero or Bleach easily, and that's not a new anime. So I understand why this category is here.
Yep.
I think what makes me the most upset is that it's just the same recycled, like,
Yes.
animes. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, also again makes sense what's going to end up winning, especially because it's going to be another popularity contest, so it's another fan pick. Again, do I think that Solo Leveling should have got best new series? I absolutely don't think it. Even if it did, even if I agreed that it should have been anime of the year, I would have not agreed for it being the best new series.
Nope.
At all. Like, I don't know if you guys like looked at like what all the animes were that could have been a part of. Like, there's a shit ton, but I only took what the ones that I knew that people were talking about or sharing a lot of, or that I've seen on like Facebook and stuff from a lot of anime pages. But there's just so many other newer animes that came out that I was just more annoyed that they just took the same exact anime for the year and put it into nominees as well.
I don't know.
My
thing would be like if this category was formed before they figured out what their anime of the year can. I wouldn't be mad at this. Like new anime that have came out this year, this would be a dope list. Or from October 1 of 23 till now, right? This would be a pretty good list. But yeah, and it just goes like, so you're telling me essentially this would be what some people say best new artist, right? So the best new artist, all the nominees for best new artist, and then you get to artist of the year, and it's just the same. Like, so nobody else,
Exactly.
nobody from
the
the continuing series is just the only best came out this fucking year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
that's it.
It's just this category. Sure, Solo Leveling can win this one. Did it deserve to win the best of the year? Absolutely not. So this category, sure. You know, it's one out of the new ones that popped up this year. It is one of the top new ones.
Now,
Is it the top of the year or the year? No.
It's like, so sorry.
I don't even think.
Will you bring up artists? Like, that's like Dochi winning best new artist, and
Now,
like,
I'm not saying it can't. It's been done before. Like somebody has showed up on the spot and just
Crushed it. Yeah.
won best new artist and best artist of the year. You know, it's rare, but it can be done. Is Solo Leveling that?
no.
People are watching Solo Leveling for the fights. They're not watching
Exactly.
it. They're not watching it for the story. They don't. Ask somebody who a side character is in Solo Leveling, and they'll probably be like the ant.
His sister. I don't fucking know.
The
His
aunt.
sister was a witch.
His
Oh, wait,
shadows.
he went to the-
You know, it's like
I'm like,
you got Dan showing up, you know, breaking records. Now, the one thing I will say, I feel Delicious in Dungeon has been snubbed in a few of these things. That is such a
I
good
agree.
anime. Frieren, it's a heavy hitter, and like I said, we'll discuss across the other the industries that voted for it. Kaiju number 8, again, disrespected when it comes to this. Recency bias and having fans come back and vote once a day turn this into what you see, you know.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, so I did look up because I was trying to see, like, is it a recency bias problem or is it just a
it's what you
popularity
see.
/ shonen problem? Some of these came out, like Apothecary Diaries came out October 2023.
Mhm.
Whereas, and same thing with Solo Leveling, whereas Dandadan came out October 2024.
Mm.
So that's I did look at that to see like if that mattered. So I was at least happy that like it seemed like at least it was a little bit spread, but I think that the recency bias though comes into play with Solo Leveling coming out in freaking this year of 2025, and the voting didn't even happen until what, a month ago? Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. I was just messing with the my audio over here, kind of messed up for a bit.
Yeah, I think that when you have the voting being coming out in, oh, is it, are you messing with the volume? Am I like too loud? Is that why?
It's on my end.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think the recency bias for Solo Leveling is the fact that the second season came out January of 2025 and the voting didn't happen until April, right? Or the beginning of May. When did the voting open up for Anime Awards? EJ, we can't hear you.
October 23, because it took all of winter 23 and then
No. When did they open up the polls to allow fans to actually vote? It was this year, April, wasn't it?
yeah.
And so when we talk about recency bias for when things released, I think it's because Solo Leveling also had a season 2 that came out in January, regardless of like when Solo, like Black mentioned it, regardless of when Solo Leveling like came out, because it was out again and everyone was hyping the second season. I think people were like, dude, Solo Leveling. They just like didn't really think about the first season, and they're just still like picking season 2 because of it came out this year and this season. In my personal opinion, I think season 2 was better than season 1, and that's what they are basing it off of, because by the time that they were voting, like Solo Leveling season 2 was ending. EJ, I think you're muted, by the way.
Yeah, it's muted.
You're right. I'm sorry. I was dealing with a little man. Yeah, I completely agree. Everyone's base this off of January's release of season 2, and they watched that and they were like, "Oh, it's the best new series." Yeah, but that's because you got fresh, brand new content just before you voted that was improved over the first season, which that's great. It's great. But it's, once again,
They didn't
best new
vote this off
series.
season 1. They voted this off season 2. These guys are
Yeah.
noobs.
And we all know that.
And I mean, look at it. Okay, name any character besides Jinwoo that's important in that.
They
I know
don't.
ones that'll eventually be important, but that's neither here nor there.
It's 100%, like you guys said. It's, hey, vote. Like if they were just like season 1, since I think of all of these on here, Solo Leveling and I think Apothecary Diaries are the only ones with season 2s either completed or currently going on. Now, if they just probably added that additional season 1 of Solo Leveling, do you think that would have changed it, or would have people just still been like, man, you see what's going on in season 2? Click, 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 click. It's still voted for
No,
Solo
I think you're
Leveling.
right. I think it would have completely changed it if it just said season 1 only.
That
Well,
would have
it
changed
does.
people's
Like, it
mind.
shows, like, that picture that is there.
Yeah.
I just, again, I think, like, we talk about recency bias. I think it's because those two are going on right now.
Well, I will say
And everyone-
because when you look at these other ones, like how to say season 2 Spy for season 2, season 7,
Oh,
like if
that's
you
a
would have
valid
just put
point.
season 1 at the end of Solo Leveling, would have people been like, well,
Yeah.
it was cool when he fought Egress at the end and said Arise. You know, that was dope. But outside of that,
Yeah.
compared to Kaiju
'Cause,
number
the
8,
intro music. I'm sorry. I even messaged you guys when I was watching it. The intro music for season 1 was some of the worst. I was like, this is-
I like the opening, but I'm not gonna say. Well, we'll get to that. I'm not. Even,
yeah.
It's
I'll
just.
stand
I
by
mean,
that.
it's much better in season 2, in my opinion. The music.
I think it's Willie. I think regardless if they would have seen season 1, even
Uh-huh.
for Apothecary Diaries, I think because there's a recency bias because you're having fans choose this, and because season 2 is going on for both of them right now, that is what they're basing it off of what they just saw freaking or just recently saw for Apothecary Diaries like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what they're voting on, and not going back and like, oh wait, let me actually look at. Which I will say that the first season of Apothecary Diaries, part 1 and part 2, is amazing. But they're basing it. I think they're just basing it off of like the entirety of the show instead of, and
Yeah.
also the fact that they just saw it. So they're like, yeah, I just saw it. It's been so hype, and I'm still riding this high because it was just like,
Yeah, and they're getting it's in their face on different chat rooms and stuff constantly. You know, messages between each other, pictures. Yeah, so it won because it's in their face constantly, and they're counting season 1 and 2 over all these other guys. So
And then now you have rumors stating that the next season won't be out until 26, right?
yeah,
So then you're going to have Crunchyroll Awards next year, and all they're going to have is season 2 of. I mean, this will be nominated, obviously,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and they're just going to vote for it still. Like, would that carry? I mean, we have the rest of the year to see if anybody steps up, but would you feel good if season 2 of Solo Leveling wins Anime of the Year?
No,
Okay, just checking.
no, and I mean,
I think.
I'm kinda,
I mean,
I'm kinda
action.
wondering if
I think
that's why they
action.
delayed
Yes.
it.
I mean, we'll talk about the genres. Maybe action, but like, I hope people are realizing it's just. I mean, the only like character
Agreed,
development they saw in season 2 is because he, the episode with his family, and so I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So like, that's like the biggest one.
Yeah, it's important to know that range. Jen's right, and Black's right too. The range is important, and Black's right. Out of this list, Kaiju number 8 and Apothecary Diaries
Yeah.
had great, brand new kind of content that was just different. I mean, for me, Freerun too. Freerun came in and just flipped the script on how going from straight action to drama, and it's still
Yeah. You might
caught
have
everyone's
14-year-olds that are like the ones that are voting for this because I don't know if I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, but if I want to think of when I was in middle school or if I think of like shonen 14-year-old mindset, I don't know if I'm going to be very interested in Apothecary Diaries and Freerun over Solo Leveling.
Yeah, and that's a shame because I feel like we are feeding them the fast food of anime, and the more popularity it gets, it knocks it up there and it kicks down the other stories and then you start to have to where, I mean, shonen survives on short attention span. I mean, you can have it playing,
Yeah, it works
doing
with
something
me.
else, and just flipping back when the action hits. You don't really need to know. There's nothing going on that Sung Jin-woo's doing in his life outside of the action that's integral to the story. So you're like, oh, I missed all of his conversation with that dude at the hospital. Who cares? He just beat the shit out of that monster. That's all they need to know.
Yep.
So, unfortunately, I feel like that really skewed this. All the things we just mentioned skewed this to where it picked up the win.
That was a good analogy, by the way, Eric, of the fast food of anime. I liked that.
I will say this too: the way I know people are just not caring about any kind of story development when it comes to Solo Leveling. The episode that was, I guess, the biggest critiqued one, where people were like trying to give it negative reviews,
Yes!
was the episode where, obviously, if you've been following the story, his mom's sick, he's raising his sister. He goes on these absurd, super difficult quests to get the ingredients to create this elixir to heal his mom.
The dude got crushed to death
He
just to
finally-
fucking get to where he is.
He finally brought the elixir to his mom healed her. He started crying. People like, oh, this bitch ass dude crying and stuff. Like, that is what I'm talking. But then go to the Jeju arc. Oh, this is the best thing I ever seen in my life. Oh, that's how I know.
Yep.
The people, they just want to see, the flashing lights, the flashy fights, and they're not taking the entirety of this thing in.
Which is also why when you say best new series and best new anime, but people bitch so much about one of the most critical, like, episodes.
Hey, Amanda.
I thought I was crying, and I thought everything was great about it. And you're telling me, sorry, we're talking about season 2, and this doesn't even matter.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, the weight of the story is what makes the rest of everything going on have an impact. If you have no weight, when he's fighting the creatures in these high-level dungeons and stuff, and it's just to get to the next power level, you're MMOing my story. I'm losing any kind of individuality or connection to this character because all he's doing is leveling, getting more powerful, and getting to the next grade up. And you're not giving me the why and why I should give a shit. I mean, honestly, I mean, when they did give us that, like Willie said, people were immediately like, oh man, I don't care for that episode. That episode's garbage. Like,
he did.
Yo, that was the only episode that made you feel like this character had any depth.
I don't want to cry. I don't like feeling feelings. Just hurt
Go
my
fight
feelings.
somebody.
Yeah. Oh.
Go fight somebody. But
Go fight somebody. Is he gonna fight his mom? Like, no, dude.
Fuck up.
No, he's not gonna fight his mom.
Oh, are we getting
the next category? This is
before we get here, can we?
This is the one I know. Eric wants to talk about this one 100%.
Yeah, Eric, just start because I.
Oh my god, I was scarred by this.
We have the best original anime. Our nominees, obviously, Buchigiri, Girls Band Cry, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night, Metallic Rogue, Ninja Kamui, and Train to the End of the World. Obviously, you see the winner of the best original anime of 2024 would be Ninja Kamui. And I know Eric has ranted and raved about this show for several episodes of this podcast, and I would like to give the floor to him so he can talk about his thoughts on his favorite anime winning best original anime.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you for that intro. This was the complete, like, okay, no one's paying attention. Because if you watch this series at all, beautiful art, interesting first 2 to 3 episodes, the rest of it was just utter garbage. Garbage in the sense that we don't really have a plot moving forward that we're going to work with. We're just going to throw the action, and then guess what? Mechs. Did you like the shadow ninja powers and magic? Too bad. We're going mechs. Like, what?
Robots now.
Robots. Colorful ass robots that you don't really understand why they're important, but they're important. And then they're going to fight ninjas. And then the ninja's going to need a robot. And you're like, what are you guys smoking over there that gave you this idea was, I mean, to me, and this is probably going to get spears thrown at me, but this felt like Dusk Till Dawn anime. You start with bank robbery, and you're like, oh, okay, it's a bank robbery. It's a criminal. Then you get to a bar in Mexico, and it's fucking vampires. What? And then this was that one where it's like no connectivity between the two that should have made it this big of a... I mean, I stopped watching... I mean, I did finish it, but I had no interest in if it's going to carry on. I didn't ever, you know how you watch something, you're like, oh man, is there going to be a season 2? I was like, I hope not. I hope they save that money and put it in their pocket. But I'm just like, come on, man. This is just, it was really, really, really bad. The initial ideas were cool. And like I said, episode 1 and 2, outstanding, dude. And then it just, the moment that they start going on a character, which I actually enjoyed, was the investigator. They started going on his little tangent where he's trying to find out what's going on behind the scenes. You're like, oh, okay, this is getting a little depth. Then it just goes completely off the rails. It turns from a train to like an inflatable life raft going nowhere on a river, and you're just like, what? So this was a terrible choice. I'm going to be upfront and say I didn't even watch the other shows that are listed here. I was interested in Train to the End of the World.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've all mentioned Girls Band Cry. It's huge explosion. Those two should have just blown this out of the water, even though I haven't seen them.
Based
from the
on
fan
what you've
reaction.
seen from Ninja.
Yeah.
You're
Oh my God.
You're
It
like,
was
I watched this.
Woo.
It was so bad. Any of these other ones would have just won by default.
like, oh, it was terrible, dude.
Dude, dude, Black.
You're right, dude. That's gonna happen.
Yes.
She said yes.
I'm a huge Zenshu fan, man. Because
I've watched it and actually I enjoy. Yeah, I've only watched four episodes so far. It's on our new lesson, and it was like,
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
Amanda, I agree with Amanda. I tried to watch Metallic Rogue. I watched the first 2 episodes.
It wasn't it, huh?
Yeah, same.
Didn't get you.
It wasn't it. I did get all of the ratings for all of these in
Yeah.
this category, and I did try to look up like what could have been the other contenders, and there was only one other one. And Willie, this is gonna maybe make you mad, and I don't know if you knew this, but Brave Bang Bravern is an original anime that's not on this list.
I know.
what?
Yes.
I know.
Oh man,
And
that
I was shocked.
it should have taken.
And
This
I was
category.
mad. But what I will say is like for Buchigiri, like I haven't seen that, but that like had about a 6.2, 4.2, 6.2 IMDb, 4.2 ish. Girls Band Cry had a 7.7 IMDb, 95%, 4.9 for
Okay,
Crunchyroll.
shit.
Like rating. Jellyfish had 7.4, 84%. Metallic Rogue was really low. Ninja Kamui was really bad. Rotten Tomatoes 57%. Train to End the World was really great. IMDb 7. Audience 82%. Crunchyroll had 4.6, and then Brave Bang Bravern also had 7.1 IMDb, 87% audience. But something interesting that I didn't know is it only had a 4.4 though rating on Crunchyroll. Maybe that's why, I don't know, but I just when I look at the ratings, because I also EJ haven't seen all of
Yeah.
these besides just a few episodes of Metallic Rogue, but even reading Reddit and people talking about Girls Band Cry and then Ninja Kamui, the director didn't even show up to the awards to accept the award for Ninja Kamui, and that's the only part of the award show I watched. And the dude literally was like, "Whoa, we are shocked," and everyone was like, "Yeah, so are we, dude.
Yeah.
we
It
are
was-
here with you."
I would just say it's probably because it had HBO Max money kind of backing it. You've seen it a little bit more. Like you're going to HBO Max to watch Last of Us or whatever, and it's like, oh, while you're here, check this out, stream this now, and nobody's really going out of their way. Like Crunchyroll, I don't want to say they do a bad job when it comes to like promoting newer anime that come up on the streaming things and stuff, but they really don't. You'll go and they'll just, you'll log in, you have your watch list you already curated, and then they're just pushing the new stuff. Like, hey, new Demon Slayer. Like, no shit. Like, I'm already watching Demon Slayer. Like,
Yeah,
new this.
exactly.
I get it already. They're not saying, hey, new original things or, I think a lot of these streaming services that do host anime need to do a better job when it comes to like promoting some of the newer things that come out and quit pushing a new season of, Solo
Yeah.
Leveling or new season of Shangri-La. Like, I get it. That's already on my watch list. I'm already tracking that stuff. Put me on some stuff that I'm not tracking right now.
Yeah,
Help me add to my list instead of, hey, your list is pretty
yeah,
solid.
like a on the radar, or up and coming category, or
Right.
new release, new property. Boom, throw it out there. So,
Nothing in it.
we might, and then they'll switch from mechs and ninjas, and it'll just go to like orcs and
Aliens.
orcs, aliens, and archers.
It worked for Dan to Dan. You start bringing aliens
Slugs.
and monsters and
true.
stuff. They're like,
I mean, that's
They were
that's
probably-
the difference. Though, like Dan to Dan goes
It didn't
off
make
the rails
sense,
like
though.
crazy. Okay, Dan to Dan goes and shoots a rocket into crazy space.
Right.
Okay, but it works because none of it was. One, they have enough comedy to offset the portions where you're like, what?
Right.
And then the story slowly starts to come to where you get the plot point of, you know, aliens, and then the supernaturals trying to protect their world from the aliens. Do they care about the people? Not really. They just don't want the aliens on their world. And the aliens want the powers of the supernatural. Okay, cool. It's as crazy as you could possibly have it, but it works. This was as crazy as you could have it without any like down the road, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's just keep rolling.
It's almost like after the first couple of episodes, they didn't think it would get picked up, and then HBO's like, "Bro, give us some more." Shit. Well, we got rid of all.
They just go around to all the people in the office. Yeah. Who's got an idea?
Yeah, we got rid of all the people that did the hand drawn shit. Yeah. Let's get a computer program and type some AI and see if it'll help us out with some. But also,
GPT is right in the next season.
Also, I think like they were probably scraping this because I mean the reviews of this like across the board, people are like, this was not it. They were probably scraping this thing, and then all of a sudden they're like, best original anime. They're like, shit. Well, should we do a season 2?
Now they're going. Yeah,
the people have spoken.
Yeah, I was gonna when I first saw that Brave Bang Bravern wasn't on here, I was like, well, maybe it's just people don't like mecha. But then I forgot that Ninja Kamui went and swung the other way, and I was like, all right, I don't know what my argument is anymore.
I just don't understand now.
I mean, they threw a little bit of everything up here for the best original.
No, say.
You know, you've got not all just action-based anime, which I was surprised. I was like, wow, cool. They put a couple up there that aren't just action-driven, but then they went with one that is only there because of action. That's it.
Is the main guy hot? Is he cool? Does his voice sound nice?
Yeah. Well, I don't usually delve into that, but yeah.
I guess.
Well, that's the only thing I can think of sometimes is like.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Well, he's a tough guy. I mean, he didn't sit there and sob when his whole family gets annihilated. So maybe that's why they like it, because Sung Jin Woo cried about his mom.
Trauma bonding. They're trauma bonding.
Yeah, they're not down with that. Don't cry about your family dying.
We don't cry here.
Next up, best animation. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu, the Hashira training art. Best animation. I'm assuming that was leaned more on that final episode of that season where Ufotable put millions and millions into that episode. And if that is the case, I'm not upset. Yeah. The only one I could see coming second to them is probably Kaiju number 8 when it comes to animation. But that last episode, I have no problem with this. This winning best continuing, I do have an issue with best animation. If we're looking like the entire
just for one
season,
episode though.
Well, the whole season was done well, and there's nothing in there that you're just like they dropped the ball or they kind of sped it along.
Yeah, they didn't have to animate that many action scenes in this one. The animation that they did do, like when the Wind Hashira was fighting the was it Snake or Miss Hashira, the Snake Hashira, when they were doing their fights and they're just like they're moving so fast I can't see. So there were pockets of great animation, but I'm saying like I don't. It was only 8 episodes. But if your last episode was that, hitting on that animation, I mean,
it was pretty insane.
I voted for
wild episode. Man.
I voted for it because I'm just like that episode, Jesus. But again,
I think it's the consistency too. Demon Slayer doesn't give you the lazy episode or the here's about 8 frames of just garbage because we just wanted to fill it. They usually take a lot of time. And it shows. So I think they did hats off. They deserve this because they put the time in it. Now, if this was a category like best creative animation, like the most
original animation,
I probably would have went with Dan to Dan.
I don't know. Actually, if you would have said creative, I still would have. So when I thought of the winner for this, I was considering. It's not that just the animation that I consider, but how are they able to show, especially during action scenes when they're switching between panels like really fast, and then they're also incorporating CGI with the 2D
Mm-hmm.
animation, which Demon Slayer does, but so does Kaiju number 8. How does that look? How does that smooth transition look? And I picked Kaiju number 8. I agree with Amanda. I thought Free Ren was absolutely gorgeous, but then you have to. unfortunately, I had to like think about that last episode of Demon Slayer, and then I always consider like Freewind's great, hand drawn. It looks amazing. It's gorgeous. Like the whole setting, everything is beautiful. But then I do think about like, well, then what do animators do when they switch between those panels so much as they do? And is the animation consistent as it's getting into those action scenes and then going back to when it's not action? And then when they include CGI, I picked Kaiju number 8 for this over Demon Slayer only because I appreciated that part of Kaiju number 8 and it didn't just base it off of one episode. I based it off that
The entire season.
They're consistent too. They are. I agree with you. They're consistent. Like Kaiju number 8's consistent with its art for every episode. They do a good job with that, especially action. They don't drop the ball on that either. You know. So, I mean, this wasn't a bad lineup. As people pairing these all together this was a pretty good selection of guys to go against each other. I mean, you know. Yeah.
Yep. So I think pretty much we're in consensus. Like we can understand this
one,
right?
All of these studios are fantastic. I haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon, but what I was reading, like and this will go into a different category with Delicious in Dungeon for me. I heard Delicious in Dungeon's animation was, and it's a different category, was also really
it's
freaking
gorgeous.
It's very detailed. They do they put a lot of attention to detail. So that's where I feel they fall into this category and they belong here because they do put the time and effort into the details of their anime. So
I think this is a hard category, and I actually thought this was a more fun one because it's now a competition of studios, and I think it's just going to up the game a little bit more for studios to do. So it helps for future animes. I'm excited to see how that goes.
Definitely a stat category. Best character design, Dan. And I have no complaints with this one at all. Outside of Kaiju number 8 was my number 2.
Same.
But yeah, it's hands down. Like me and EJ were kind of talking behind the scenes. I mean, just right off the bat, you got your standard humans, right? And then you turn the corner, Turbo Granny. Then you have the aliens, and then you have that spirit that came and showed up at the house. I'm just like, gosh, man, like every episode you just find a new way to draw an amazing new character.
Yeah.
You know, and then to tie it in, like, you know, the little fighting mantis shrimp, you know, and then you turn that into a monster and shit.
Yeah.
And then you give him a backstory. Like, I came here because my family back on my... I was like, yo, this shit is so crazy, but I'm here for it, you know? So
that's what I mean. Creativity, if it was just a category of creativity, man, they should have gotten all the flowers because...
Oh, yeah.
It's so and so original but intricate, and I enjoyed every little idiosyncrasy that they put in there to like, oh hey, Turbo Granny now left him and is in and possessed the statue of the Fortune Kitty. You know, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
But then it's a hilarious addition to the art as it's going on. So it was, and then the complete difference in like characters, like I was mentioning before when we talked about Dan to Dan.
Yeah.
Usually the hero guy is not the nerdy kid in the class that's quiet and reserved. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually this, you know, either the brooding dark character or the really courageous, you know, Tanjiro. So, and the main character girl is usually not the outspoken, crazy, you know, what do you call it? Almost like an outcast of the class.
Yeah. They're also like very shy, just
they're
kind of save me trope a little bit.
Yeah, smart, don't make mistakes. You know, these characters feel real, and then you throw in the, you know, like Obachan and stuff, and you're just like, what in the world? But it's awesome. This is so awesome.
Yeah.
So I totally think they agree I agree with this. I don't think that some of the other are so original, you know. So in this category, Kaiju number 8 definitely has got some originality when it comes to the characters and everything that happens with them. And Freeren's not original, but the character depth and the time that they put into them, they belong in this category too.
Yeah.
So I have no problems with this one.
I think Dan to Dan is the perfect anime that you're like, you know who the protagonists are, but you become so in love with everyone else as well. Like Acrobatic Silky is the one that I will think about. Like that's a character that's not continuing. Like that was yes, it's a
Yeah,
part
but
of
it was
like one
so
of the
good.
characters, but like just how they incorporated that story, they just yeah, I don't know, like they lovingly created the entire cast so that you felt some type of connection and you always remember at least a little bit of everybody and not just focus on the one or two protagonists.
Yeah. And I mean, when you can take the little mannequin from your, health bio class and turn that into
Yeah,
a
Into a whole
an,
like a
story. Yeah,
love
yeah.
an
story.
emotional attached character where you're just like, oh, he didn't make it.
Oh,
No. And
I know you're all
Yeah.
like
yeah.
cheering for this side character that's a man.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, oh,
They're
come on, you almost got it. You know,
they
it's
Yeah.
like
are out of
that.
pocket. They're like I said, they're knocking it out the park over there. So it's good to see that. Next up, best director. And categories were I'm gonna mess up some names. Fuga Yamashiro from Dan to Dan. We got Haru Sorozaki from Demon Slayer. Kichiro Saito from Frieren. Megumi Ishitani from One Piece. Norihiro
Naganuma.
Naganuma from Apothecary Diaries, and then Yoshiro Miyajima from Delicious in Dungeon. Frieren won. I have no complaints about that. Anybody have any gripes, or anybody can see anybody being kind of close in this one? I would say outside of Delicious and Dungeon, I haven't really got too much into the Apothecary Diaries, but Frieren was amazing. And when I look at director, I'm looking at, because obviously you have the manga, the storyboard already cut out, but like Jackie was saying, the transitions, how you want to angle the quote unquote camera in the thing to relay certain points, small things like that can make what in the manga could have looked like a casual conversation mean a little bit more, or put a little bit more emphasis on something. So normally I would lean more towards your story-driven kind of character developing anime when it comes to when I'm looking at trying to give directors their props. And outside of Frieren, the only one I could see up there is probably Delicious in Dungeon. So I have no complaints about Frieren winning this one. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Eric.
I absolutely agree with you, Willie. I feel like Frieren knocked it out the park as far as cinematography, if that can be kind of looked at. I mean, the way the camera angles are, the flowing, the pacing, the time and effort put into the background of the characters, is background of the world, and even just watching the simple traveling convey. The director, I feel like they take a part in a lot of that pacing, and that pacing is so important, especially to this story, because of the fact that we're seeing this journey. I mean, journey here is like you were talking ages, so they convey that well in the pacing, like just her overall demeanor of nonchalant going through life. Like, I got all the time in the world. So when she's walking around and stuff, whoever decided that, which is probably the director, focused on the journey of her walking from one spot to another. It carries that feeling with those scenes. So I thought they did great. I have no complaints here.
Yeah, I know you haven't seen Apothecary Diaries. It really is like a awesome story. It's different.
Mhm.
We'll go into genres soon, and I have a little bit of a complaint for how Crunchyroll decides what their genres are
Yeah.
for the awards. Um, and I don't think there are enough animes with a mystery genre. And Apothecary Diaries definitely has that mystery drama type of feel to it. And I think that it's one of the greatest ones that I've seen in a while. And it helped me get more into mysteries because they haven't, like, Shonen's been like dominating the game for a few years now. That mystery, I think, has been kind of not finding its way into the anime world, if that makes sense. It's been a lot of action, adventure, fantasy, isekai, all that stuff. But if I have to compare that to all the other ones that are on here, I haven't seen the One Piece fan letter. I don't know if I would agree with it being on here either way. But
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with you, EJ. Just like the way that the director chose to take what the creator wrote and drew and then was able to then put on display for like anime watchers to see, I think was it's just gorgeous because they also help with the animation, what they want to see and what they think should look the best. And I think all of it is just this makes 100% sense to me.
Cool.
Agree.
Look at that. Background art again. Freerun. I don't think anybody has anything against that.
So
I think it was Amanda who mentioned the retro kind of fantasy look, you know. And
the only thing I would say about this is I haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon.
mhm.
However, I did a lot of research on it and I was looking at Reddit. I don't Free Run's gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's just the background. I'm kind of upset that it got background though instead of like overall because we like Amanda said like when she's talking about like everything with Free Run is gorgeous besides the background. And I heard that what the animators did and what they drew for Delicious and Dungeon and the focus
Mhm.
that they put in especially on a lot of that food was just almost out of this world. And I almost think Delicious and Dungeon was I haven't even watched it and I think that it was snubbed in this category. But Willie,
Well,
I'll
I
let you
will
speak
say
more on that because you've seen it.
no.
But
There are some beautiful set pieces in Delicious and Dungeon. I think what held them back when it came to this is, to me, there are certain times where they're in the dungeon where it's just them sitting around the campfire talking and getting to know one another. So it's kind of a just basic
oh,
dungeon background. Now, when they're like adventurers stepping into a new level of the dungeon or different setting, the actual when they span out so you can see kind of to get a grand to see the grandeur of the world that they're stepping in is amazing. So I would put that probably in second up to them to Freerun. But like I said, Freerun is more wide open. It's not a whole lot of times where they're like in confined spaces. So like the background can breathe and you can see a lot more of the background and how much effort was put into it when there's certain pockets in Delicious and Dungeon where it's just the dungeon wall behind them while they're talking.
okay.
Mm.
Did you guys see Pluto?
I did not.
No, I didn't hear great things about it though.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
And I
was
think that
it,
this
it was
category is important in the fact that immersion in the world. So free run bring the immersion level. Reason why I feel like free run wins is because the background plays a part in making it feel so epic and such a journey. You know what I mean? So the time that they took to do that, even just staring at this screen, you see the trees and the castle off in the distance and so forth, and the colors kind of draw you towards that. It all plays into the story. So that's
Yeah.
why I feel like they won, is because does Demon Slayer put effort into the background? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to the trees have detail. Okay, that's awesome. And to me, that's a huge factor. That's why I consider that when I look at things. Like, that's why I was excited about Lazarus. You look at Lazarus, there's little rust and chips on the handrail in the prison.
Yep.
Okay, that's little details that bring you into that world. And Freerun does that on a level. Like I said, I haven't even watched the whole season. Jen had it on. I watched maybe a third of every episode because I'm working on stuff on the computer while she's got it going. But I loved it. Every time I turned around, there was never a point where I was disappointed and I didn't feel like, wow, this makes me want to watch this story unfold.
Yeah.
All the way down to flowers. The insignificant, you're like, flowers are usually just a toss up to the side. They have a whole episode about finding the right flower, and it's not boring. You're like,
Yeah, I actually really loved that episode. It made me feel
they're well deserved their award.
Best romance. Like I said, I'm not big on the checking out the romance categories on Crunchyroll or any anime. But if any of you have seen any of these, like I saw Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, and I'm upset because it's the same animation company that does Dandadan right now, and Netflix was just like, "Oh, you didn't make me $5 billion, so we're getting rid of you," right?
yeah.
Which I think ends up working out because now that whole studio can just focus on giving us Dandadan at the moment. So it sucks,
Yeah.
but I don't know if any of you guys want to speak to best romance. or we can just
I
get
can't
to the
give
next.
like a good opinion on it, unfortunately, because some of the romance I watched weren't. I watched Ranma half, and only because I've always wanted to watch it, but I didn't watch the original because they strayed so far from the original manga, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I will say that Rama Half, in my personal opinion, is more of a comedy than I think. There is romance; it's there, like you see it, but I
But
think it's
it,
more
you're
of a
right.
comedy.
Hmm.
But the romance is nice. It feels really great. It makes you have that feel good rom com vibes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Only thing I read, and I was looking at the reviews for this, is that the dangers in my heart, and from what I've heard from everyone, people were raving about this,
Mm.
and some people were pissed that that didn't win over Blue Box. Haven't seen either, so I cannot speak to it. But that's the only thing I saw from like the majority of people is people are pissed that Dangers in My Heart didn't win over Blue Box. I think it's because Dangers in My Heart is only available on what's that app called? High Dive,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
it's not on
It didn't get
Crunchyroll.
yeah.
And so I wonder if because Blue Box is on Netflix, so I wonder if Dangers in My Heart just didn't get the love
Nice.
that it should have gotten because it's only available on that one app that I don't think is as popular, and a lot of people
Yeah.
might not know about it unless they really watch anime religiously.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you guys. I didn't watch those,
Hmm.
but and I have to give it to them. I mean, the creators of these, you're talking about being a hard fought, category. Because I mean, you're not the most, you know, you don't draw the most views. You probably don't have the biggest budget. You're fighting an uphill battle the whole time.
Yeah.
So any one of them that come out, and I was excited that they made the Scott Pilgrim thing, and I was disappointed too. But I've come to expect that from Netflix.
Yep.
They give us something, and they smash it. So, but I don't really have any inputs. So I guess Blue Box won.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Good job.
Best comedy anime. We have Mashal winning that one. Mashal, Magic and Muscles. Delicious in Dungeon was also nominated. Konosuba. My Dear Friend, Nokotan. Rama, like Jackie said, Rama Half, and then Spy Family Season 2 with Mashal winning for Best Comedy. I was shocked that Dan the Dan didn't kind of sneak in here for Best Comedy. But again, it's one of those where I guess you just don't want to throw it into every category that's on here. But to Jackie's
I
point,
have a question because I want to know your guys' opinion.
yeah,
How do you feel about anime that have, let's say, multiple genres? So we'll say Mashal as an example.
Mhm.
Maybe I think they have like fantasy or magic, comedy, and action. How do you feel about them showing up in every single genre, if that were the case?
I'm not a fan. You know,
Mhm.
like
Because my
just
opinion is, I think that if you are overall one genre, then you should only be a nominee for that genre and not the others. So,
I
like for
agree.
example, if Mashal's more of a comedy, then it should be in a comedy nominee, and then nominee, and it shouldn't be also in an action and fantasy because everyone's consensus that it's more of a comedy over the other. And if it doesn't make it, then it doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And then it should be others that are
Well, I
focused in that
mean,
genre.
even in this one, you have your Ranma Half that we just saw in Best Romance, and then now you want me to look at it like it's the best comedy. Like, what
Exactly.
are you? Like,
Yeah.
pick one.
That's my point.
Yeah, keep them into at least keep them in a main category, because Delicious in Dungeon isn't technically a comedy. So I mean, does it have funny parts? There's funny parts, but
Right.
that should it be stuck in there? So
So
I don't know.
my thing
You
is,
know,
if there's not a genre of anime that's just for comedy, why do you have a best comedy
Yes.
category?
yeah. I
Because I
mean,
feel like because you do that, and now this is where you get the repetitiveness of shows, then you're not actually capsulating on the other anime that were created to be primarily in that category, and then those are the ones that get snubbed constantly
And I
because you
also
just keep
feel
going with the same ones.
for people who haven't watched these anime, like if you're scrolling through and you see Spy Family season 2, somebody's mind can be like, well, I'm not into comedy anime, so I'm not going to check out Spy Family, not knowing there's a
yeah,
whole espionage arc going on behind the scenes with legit
exactly.
character building and and a will they won't they thing. Like it's a little bit of everything. It gets all the emotions involved, which I feel most anime do. Because I would even say if that's the case, you could put Dan to Dan in best romance when you're looking at
I know.
Asami and Okuru. You know what I'm saying? Like, are they going to get together? Are they? Will they? I hope they do. And
Yeah.
I like their romance a little bit more than I forget the other ones. Like that's because I think their romance
Right.
is way more natural.
Entertaining.
But-
yeah. And
of the ones they have here, though, like what Eric said, like which of these had the funnier season? Like which one had more funny parts throughout the season? I think that's all they're looking for.
Konosuba.
Oh, Konosuba, 100%. That's
The whole entire premise of that is just nothing
is
but
to be a funny
fucking-
isekai.
Yeah, so that's why I was
Right.
Mashl's funny. I agree. Like, I
Mashl's
love me and
hilarious.
Willie. You didn't watch Mashal, right, EJ?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, so me and Willie, you have to watch it, dude.
When you get the
will love
time.
it, but-
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
but me and Willie talk about it. It is great. It's fantastic. It is funny. I think it was what was it? Jen that said. Oh no, it was Danny. Danny said Mashal had him dying. Yes, I'll agree. But like, I haven't seen Konosuba, and Steven tells me all about it all the time, and he showed me one episode, and I was dying laughing because of how stupid it is.
I have to check it out for real.
Like,
I mean,
I was more shocked that Konosuba didn't win.
Konosuba is just one of those shows where I don't think the creator in the company thought it was going to get picked. Like, I think season 3 just came out last year, 2024. The last season was like 2017 or something. They were just like, it's not, and the popularity was growing. Like, well, fuck, I guess we'll put out another season. So,
I heard this season 3 was great.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, once you realize what the show is, like, you don't tune into Konosuba if you're expecting fucking the time I was reincarnated as a slime or a ReZero or a shield hero or something. This ain't it. If you just want to have a good time with the isekai setting, you know, it's worth its weight in gold. So I thought Konosuba, which to me seems like an anime made specifically for comedy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what I mean by the genres. Like, Konosuba does have action and isekai, but I think it's primarily a comedy. So, yeah, it belongs in this. And, yeah, maybe Mashal, because I think it's also primarily a comedy. But, yeah, I even looked up, like, the ratings. Konosuba had better ratings than Mashal. They only compared equally at Crunchyroll, but they had a way better. And I do think IMDb is legit over IGN. And IMDb was an 8.4, where Mashal was only a 7.6, and the audience score for Konosuba was higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Danny's right too. Danny had mentioned it. It's the sensibilities of people and what they find as comedy. You know, so what they're categorizing it as from east to west would probably possibly change due to the outlooks. But we are going strictly off of Crunchyroll votes. So, I mean, with what's presented by Crunchyroll, that I could see how it would have fallen between the two.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched either one, but just from what I've heard from all of you, I you know, Konosuba sounds like it probably should have been the head of the comedy category.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best action, Solo Leveling.
I actually don't disagree with this.
Solo Leveling season 1.
Oh, fuck. That's right.
Yeah. That throws a wrench in it. See, we're falling into exactly what
See,
you brought up.
I'm falling into the trope as
You fell into it. I mean, actually, yeah.
They got you.
I'm glad that just happened, because there you go. I am the
We're the going off of the recent.
there you go. There you go, world. There you go, everybody.
Well, if we're going off of season 1, I would say that Kaiju number 8 and Bleach both knock it out of the park when it comes to action in comparison.
Yeah. Have you guys watched Windbreaker?
I have not, but I heard great things, and Amanda just had to check it out. So
I don't know. Me and Steven watched the first 2 episodes. We did try it, and if I can't make it to a 3rd episode of something, I really have to commit myself to try and watch it again. And we could not. We watched episode 2. We were gonna watch episode 3, but we looked at each other. We're like, we're not feeling this, man. Like,
there's so many other things we could be watching.
Yeah, and but then people have been like, most recently, sharing stuff. So that's why we're like, maybe we should just force ourselves to sit down and just try it. Maybe it's one of those
What
ones that
season
after
is it
episode,
in?
Season
it's
two
the
just
first
started.
season. Oh,
Season
season
two
two,
just,
yeah.
season two.
Okay, so maybe as season 2 kicks, because I mean that's the same story with Solo Leveling. Season 1, it's good. It's not great. But then season 2 is really where it
The
kicks
action
off.
was really.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
so-
surprised if it wins action here or here, just because I was watching it again last night. I did. So I say I came home at 2 a.m. By the way, I stayed up till 4:30 because I was watching preparing for this again, and I was watching again episodes and stuff, and I just watched again. It was the season 2. It was recency bias. I watched the ending of season 2, and I was like, oh damn, I forgot how good this freaking action scene was.
Yeah, I mean, the action sequences in Soul Leveling are good, but I mean are beautiful. But
Willie, I have a question. Sorry, scroll up. What was this? Sorry, go up
Oh,
again.
you talk about Danny's comment. This one.
Best action. No, sorry, best action. So, would this be the
this
same
is best
argument
action.
though? Would this be the same? I might know the answer to this already, but would this be the same argument though for Demon Slayer being a nominee that people were probably focusing on the last episode more than they were
100%. Because what other action was there in this season?
The training arc didn't have.
There was no other villains. There's no other big fight except the kind of the sparring between the Wind and the Snake Hashira.
And I mean that's why I say Kaiju number 8 and Bleach.
I think
on this list they should have been the top 2 contenders, and I feel like probably it would have ended up going to Bleach just because of the epicness of the battles. Can reach
bro, the Bankais. The Bankais for Bleach Thousand-Year Blood War. Jesus Christ, man. It is, you could tell the weight of the power in when they call their ultimate attack. You're like, shit's about to hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
Kaiju, I would still give it to Kaiju, and that's just me. As big as a Bleach fan I am, the fights in Kaiju, I mean, going from, when the vice captain found out old buddy was Kaiju number 8, and they had that battle in there, and you saw how vicious the vice captain could get, to where they capture him, and then you got him turning into Kaiju number 8 to fight against the director of the defense force and that battle. And I'm just like, bro, every time a Kaiju shows up or a fight's about to go down, I am not. And I would even say, compared to season 1 of Solo Leveling, Kaiju number 8 season 1 is way better when it comes to the action.
The way that they incorporated this is again what I was talking about, how they incorporated the CGI with the 2D animation. It was so smooth. I could kind of see the CGI, but the way that it flowed.
Yeah.
Flowed.
Flowed.
Flowed. Thanks.
The way it flew.
The
mimosas. The mimosas is
it. The mimosa, guys.
But yeah, I mean, I think a big part of that too, both of you guys are kind of mentioning Kaiju number 8's action is supported so much by the plot line.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's, I think, why it Solo Leveling is got beautiful action. The story is not on the same level. So, I mean, it's very much like a video. To me, it's like Final Fantasy VII. As soon as the battle starts, you got them sitting there, and you got the battle actions going. Cool. Then boop. It's like random encounters that don't have a lot of weight.
What a great analogy! I love that.
So I'm just like, Soul Leveling's beautiful with it. I mean, it's like if you did all the biggest limit breaks in one combat on Final Fantasy VII, like one battle, you're like, oh, the best limit breaks and summon.
Or when you fucking summon the Aeons.
Yeah, it's
beautiful. Bring Shiva into this mix.
But in a random encounter, what weight did it hold to the story? So that's why Soul Leveling to me loses that, because it's like these are just like random encounters in a dungeon with no real impact on the story. Yes, he's making money to heal his mom.
Yeah, but that's action.
But where you go with the other ones, there's a whole lot more behind these fights that happen. Yeah. So when the fight happens, it's like, just like Demon Slayer. The only reason Demon Slayer's on there is because that last episode has so much weight.
Which is why it makes perfect sense for animation. I don't We all agree.
Yeah.
It does not make sense for action because it was a training arc. Did it have some cool action sequences? Sure.
Yeah.
But just because the last episode's animation was so sick, that wasn't even really, I would argue that's not even an action sequence. That was just freaking animation.
Yeah,
Like
it's just
top
great
tier
storytelling in a
animation.
moment that's so fueled with so much going on, so much emotion, so much plot advancement going on that episode was incredible.
Yeah.
That's what we're lacking in those those other battle sequences. You know, like I'm saying, Soul Leveling, amazing art when it comes to battle. The speed, the changes in camera angles, the lighting, the colors, beautiful. Like 2B Hero X, outstanding combat. Level of story that's pushing that. The plot behind that fight has to give it some depth, or else the battle is just pretty with no emphasis on why.
Do you guys think Kaiju number 8 got snubbed mainly because the main character is in his 30s?
No. I just think it's just, when was the last episode of Kaiju number 8 compared to the last episode of these other anime we're talking about?
Oh, I wrote it down.
You know, like especially Solo Leveling. We already talked about how that recency bias today. Also, real quick, shout out to the crew over at that time we started an anime podcast. They're in the comments. What's up, fellas? If you are unaware, our very own EJ and Jackie joined them on a episode, and that episode is out. So just head over to their page.
Awesome guys.
Head over to their page. I think they're talking about what makes an anime a classic and what doesn't. So go check that out. Part 1 is out now. Part 2 should be coming out soon of that one.
And to answer your question, EJ, it was April 2024 is when Kaiju came out.
That's when it came out. When was their last episode?
Oh, if you got to,
July,
usually
right?
you add 3 months
May.
onto that. Yeah, April,
May or
May,
June.
June, July. I would say July because usually it's 3 months.
Yeah, so like
for one
summer.
okay.
So about summer last year, and then you had all these other things come out. So I think
Yeah.
that's why Kaiju kind of fell off the.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so annoying.
Yep. Best Isekai. We've had
This is on this.
Konosuba, right? We have what's wrong, Jackie? Why you cross your arms like that?
It's time. Jackie's ready.
I don't
She's
like it. I don't like it.
I agree. It's ReZero. I
Okay.
100% agree. It's ReZero.
We have Konosuba.
Why
we
the
got
fuck
Mushoku
is
Tensei.
Suicide Squad on this shit?
We have ReZero, Shangri-La, Suicide Squad, and that time I got reincarnated by a slime.
Also, Shangri-La Frontier is not an isekai. Now you're like trying to give it love, but now you're just throwing it in a fucking anime that makes or a category that makes no sense. That's why I'm at.
So I think everybody's in agreement with the Suicide Squad isekai. Like, why is this here? Get this out of here. Did it need to be there? Like, what do you like? I think
Why?
every other category had 5 nominees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 6. So okay, I guess they just needed to throw some shit in here for 6. But
They're just like, all right, put that out.
it says isekai in the title. So,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. It shouldn't be in there.
but yeah,
It wasn't even that good. I looked at the reviews. People were like, "Yeah, it was cool."
it was.
They made an anime DC thing, but like,
It wasn't good.
sick.
The Batman, kind of like was it Batman when it was in feudal Japan? That was better.
Oh god, it was terrible.
Yeah, it's just like they just keep trying to give anime flavor to like DC characters. I'm like, you guys don't need to. Just make good DC movies and we'll be fine. But
I mean, their animated studios do a great job with the regular DC animated movies are pretty good. DC to anime is, I mean, the story for the Batman in feudal Japan thing or whatever was just like,
I guess it's an original thought. I guess
it's original thought, all right.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne.
I 100% agree with ReZero being selected. Steven's the one that got me into this, and I'm so glad he did. This is arguably one of the best isekais that I've seen. Sword Art Online was good, but like ReZero hasn't missed, and how graphic and just the emotions and everything and the character development, it's just insane. Like, it's a really good fucking show. Like I can't even believe I'm saying this because I talked so much shit on it like a year ago, but it's really good. I'm just upset that like this is the first. I think this is the first time Shangri-La Frontier
Yep.
is mentioned, and it's not even an isekai. The dude is just playing video games. He's not reincarnate. That's what it. For my, and you guys can tell me if you think differently. But an isekai, in my opinion, or what I understand it is, it's like you are reincarnated
and put in another
Yes.
world.
Exactly. So the fact that Shangri-La Frontier is in here, like either the people who are the judges are being selected don't understand what a freaking isekai is, and it makes me question like this expertise that they say that they look for in judges. Go ahead.
Would they just have a hard time categorizing Shangri-La Frontier then? Because
No,
what other
Shangri-La Frontier has great comedy. It has great adventure. It has great
Action.
There's a lot of great music.
So just like a
I'll
fantasy
get into that
adventure
later.
more so
Dude.
than like
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
There's not a lot of character development. I'll say that.
Like
It's
even
not-
now, the previous arc, like he's taking a break from actual Shangri-La Frontier, and he's helping his boy play another fighting game. You know, like he's just good at games. He just focuses on Shangri-La Frontier, but he'll take a break and play some kind of mech fighting robot game. Now he's taking a break from that and helping his boy in this fighting game that they're about to do this tournament on. So it's not really an isekai. Like some people will argue Sword Art Online is like that, but this dude was like legit trapped in this world. And if he died in the video game world, he dies in real life.
And that's why I say that makes sense that it's an isekai only because of that.
Right.
But this is not that. The dude's just
Like
playing video games.
Like he's died in Shangri-La Frontier, and he just respawns back at his point. You know, he's died.
Yeah.
He's never legit in trouble.
Endangered.
Like you're just
and
like,
he
oh,
takes
he's gonna
his
lose
virtual
equipment.
headset off
Yeah.
and then just goes about his life.
Yeah. Like if Kirito died in you know what I'm saying? Sword Art Online, like he dies
his life.
in real life. You know,
That's his real life. Yeah. There's no respawn there.
So there were stakes
me.
there.
That's only the reason why it makes me mad. Is just that you decide to. It's almost like you're like, hey guys, we got to give love to Shangri-La. Let's throw it in the isekai. It's like
Yeah.
But so yeah, ReZero, no complaints. Best drama, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. We've had nominees of A Sign of Affection, Dead Demons, Dead Destruction, Oshinoko Season 2, Pluto, and Apothecary Diaries. Anybody upset with Frieren winning Best Drama? Or is it one of those things where you're just like, it's not just a drama?
That's my thing.
Yeah.
I don't like that Frieren won Best Drama. I don't think it's a drama.
When there's actual anime out there,
I think
that are dramas.
Oshinoko. You haven't seen Oshinoko,
Nuh-uh.
and there's probably a lot of Oshinoko fans out there that are pissed about this because Oshinoko is a way better drama.
Oh,
In my opinion, than Frieren. There's not a lot of drama in Frieren. It's just an adventure. It's fantasy. It's a slow burn. It's nice. Like you see how they go through. I don't think Frieren. When I think of Frieren, I don't think of drama. If you had like 4 different categories to put it in, drama would be, or 4 genres, I think drama would be the 4th one, all the way at the end. And then you have like fantasy, adventure, maybe a little bit of comedy if you want to throw that in there, whatever, like slice of life. Not slice of life, but I don't consider it a drama.
I think the subject matter is dramatic, and I think that's why Frieren is looked at that way, because like it's about relationships. It's about your interactions and the time you spend with people. Time is a key factor in everything about Frieren. Time and the lifespan of those that you spend your time with. She's starting to realize that. So that anchors the show and makes it different than just a regular old fantasy show, or fantasy series, is the fact that they're dealing with her emotions. And as you watch, they start to grow. Like when she finally takes on her friend or her companion, when her priestly cleric kind of character passes on, she finally gets to start expressing some of the emotion of the lost people. She didn't even realize it. So it is emotionally driven to an extent. So I think that's why they kind of looked at it as like heavy drama as far as character focus and emotions. It is fantasy based, but most fantasies, I mean, they can completely lack any character depth of emotion. except for the goofy crying or something when they're scared, or when when it starts to get a little bit of the goofiness or comedy where someone cries or goofs off.
Yeah.
But the focus and actually like when she starts to realize like how she misses the people she was journeying with and didn't realize that that time was so precious. I think that that's more the focus in Free Rent is all the
Yeah.
feels. That's why people are like, it's got so much emotionally driven content where, um, is it just a drama? I agree with you. For it to be categorized like this only is kind of robbing it of all the other great things about it. But I'm glad they gave it some kind of nod because I feel like all the bases it covers, it was so much more the best anime of the year than
Yeah.
what we
I
initially
think that's what
awarded.
makes me mad is it's more of a best anime of the year than it is best drama. I think Oshino I forgot where did I see that about where is it? Oh, Kenpachi. So I know that uh Willie, you said you didn't hear good things about Pluto, but when I was like doing research, Pluto was actually rated really high on the drama
Yeah.
aspect. A lot of people said the story of that and Oshinoko was like pretty insane for both of those. Apothecary Diaries, I think, is a drama, but I think it's more of a mystery than drama. And this is what I was talking about the genres I was kind of pissed off about Crunchyroll. So they removed fantasy, and I don't know if they ever had a mystery or horror section,
They
but
didn't
they
have horror, they have
removed.
thriller, I think.
But I don't think they have thriller this year.
Oh, they don't? Oh.
No. So they removed like a lot of those. So they just have like action, drama, slice of life, and romance, I think. Oh, and isekai. That's it. And that's where I'm like, that's crazy because there's so many other animes out there that are horror, mystery, and like really are like fantasy. Like I think Free Run's a great overall fan. I know you talk about drama and it is about all those character relationships,
But
but
it's,
if you ever watch Oshinoko, those character relationships and the things they go through and how dramatic it's like watching a K drama because they're all
okay.
pop idols. That it is a freaking drama. It is just super dramatic. Whereas like Free Run is like, yeah, it has like those relationships, but it's more of an enjoyable fantasy that goes through those journeys and that adventure with those relationships, and it takes you on that. And
Yeah.
that's what I was more upset at was some of the. I know there's a lot of categories, but like, why did you get rid of the fantasy though? Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot out there that had
So much
fantasy
fantasy
that
too.
didn't
Yeah.
that didn't get the recognition that I think they deserved, as well. Like, you could have even put Shangri-La Frontier in fantasy if you wanted to.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But like even the horror part and the mystery, like Apothecary Diaries is a great mystery, and I don't think that a lot of animes that are created with mystery genres in it are also recognized enough, which is why it's I don't know. I don't know. That I love Free Run. I think it's great. Obviously, I talk about all the freaking time. I think it should have won Anime of the Year. I don't think it should have won Best Drama, and I think Oshinoko didn't get the love it deserves because it was from what I heard and I read. I'm not caught up yet, but what I read and everything, the season 2 was just insane.
What
Yeah.
about you, Willie?
I mean, I'm with Jackie. I just feel bad for the titles and the projects that are strictly made to be drama, because you can go to Crunchyroll and there's a whole genre and a category for drama, right? And there's plenty of shows and things under there that don't get love because the mismanaging of the categories or how you're going to delegate what falls into what, and now you have Free Rent under here and things like that. Well,
Yeah.
you could pretty much, if you don't want to do too many, like best mystery, best whatever, because Kenpachi says, Pluto was more of a murder mystery, but he could see how it can fall into dramatics. Or when we were talking about Isekai, right? Like, what's your definition of that, of another world? If the majority of the show or a lot of the main points and action of the show happen in another world, and that's what you're considering to be the Isekai, cool. But, I feel bad for the things like Jackie was talking about, the Oshinoko season 2. Like, this show is made strictly for that. There's no
For drama,
fantasy.
so, yeah.
There's no dungeon crawling. There's no sorcery. None of that stuff. It's character
So it's
driven
unfair.
drama.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
going up
unfair that
against one of the
yeah.
most popular anime of the year. It's now in my category.
It's gonna blow me
It's
out of
gonna
the
blow
water.
me out
and
the
that's
water.
Not fair. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, Free Rent's getting pigeonholed into drama because I mean, you got to think we're looking at fan base voting here. Most of the people who are on Crunchyroll voting, and let's say they all vote for Solo Leveling, if they checked anything out here, they probably only checked out Freerun.
Yeah.
Maybe Pluto. You know, and then after that, they were like, all right, well, I watched a little bit of Freerun. I guess Freerun will win that. And you're right. It because it got shot into this category, it it overshadowed series that are primarily focused on drama. So I can see how that's unfair, and I'm glad it won an award because I feel like it deserves so much
Yeah.
more. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. The ones who focus on this need a little bit more, hats off to you for making what you could out of,
Yeah.
when you're not the most popular category.
And this is where I was like on my whole soapbox about how were the nominees selected. That is like why I was like researching. Like when I saw it was really when I saw best drama, I was like,
Best slice of life?
I have no comments on this because I didn't watch any of these.
Me neither. The only one that resonated was my dear friend Nakutan, because I remember you.
Well, that's because I showed you that.
Yeah, you showed me that clip, but that was also up there in like best comedy or something like that. So I'm just, again, it's one of those. I could see Slice of Life also being comedy if there's some funny moments in it, but you know, like we talked about, MASH had funny moments, all these other anime had funny moments, Dan, and they weren't in the category. So no complaints about Slice of Life.
Yeah, I did talk to Steven. Like he saw Laid Back Camp, and Steven, that's the only thing I heard about. He said it's one of the best Slice of Life he's ever watched.
Oh, does he watch a lot of them or no?
He really loves. He likes Slice of Life a lot.
A question over there.
Danny
asked, about the catalog. Now you looked into that, Jackie. It was like, how much were they allowed to pick outside of the titles that are thrown up? I mean, were they open to everything under the category of Slice of Life, or were there
for the nominees, like how the nominees were selected?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Danny, what I researched and what I read was also it's not just Crunchyroll wasn't the only app that was involved in this. It was everything, because that's what I also looked up was, is it Crunchyroll Anime Awards or is it Anime Awards? And even though it says Crunchyroll, it's all anime, which makes sense when you bring in like things that were talked about in here that weren't on Crunchyroll. But first, the nominees are selected based off of random judges that are decided upon from Crunchyroll, and those people could be diehard fans that they've done research in, that know stuff about anime, I think, and maybe people that might be directors or expert. It's like a variety. They just pick random judges, and those people then decide on what their top 5 or 6 or whatever they decide is the number, I guess, in that category, and then they open it up to the public, and then the entire public can vote on their anime once a day until whatever the cutoff date was, which I can't remember it. So people can spam as much as they want.
That's flawed.
Not as much as they want a day, but like I can, if I wanted to, I could vote for Solo Leveling for every single category if it was a nominee every single day.
Yeah, I agree, Jen. It's a lazy way to tally the votes, because I mean you're just stacking. You let it get stacked to whoever's on Crunchyroll the most, and they could be the worst, have the worst taste in the world.
Which is why I was saying what I was saying. Whereas the Dangers in My Heart is only on High Dive, but if you look about it and you research about it from everyone that talks about it, it was rated from majority of people. Like when I romance from this year, everyone says Dangers in My Heart. Dangers in My Heart. It was like everything, and I just haven't watched it yet. It's on my list to watch, and I have not. Yeah, and that's the frustrating part, is like when you only have an anime that's on only one type of app that's not that popular, and because that app also only has like a very select few animes, like a lot of people aren't going to watch that unless they also stream it illegally, and so I think that already puts it at a disadvantage.
Well, that kind of goes to what Willie was saying earlier too. Is like you're only tossing up every time I open up Crunchyroll, I get the same 10 titles as, oh, what everyone's watching now. And you're like, yeah, I know everybody's watching, Dan to Dan. I know everybody's watching. And unfortunately, these other guys get, under the radar, or like Kimpachi was saying earlier, is the popularity vote really kills it for some of these other titles, because you could have just people's viewership levels super high, but then the show's like, lackluster.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And the crew over at that time, we started Anime Podcast, says they don't like the fact that you could change or vote multiple times. Like, it's one of those,
Yeah.
take your time, put some thought into your vote, because like you'll vote one day and then you'll be like, you know what, never mind, I changed my mind. So now you voted for Demon Slayer Monday, you vote for the other one Tuesday. Now they're tied, and it's not like a real, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it's a sloppy way to vote,
Yeah, good point, Josh. Good point. I mean, it's basically makes the vote less important, because you can just, whenever you, the whim, the feeling of your, like, well, today I really like this today. Boop.
Yeah, and then for Danny's point about High Dive too, like High Dive's cheap. It's only, I think, like $6.99.
Yeah.
Maybe $5.99 a month. I will say that when I did have a subscription with it, I did run into a lot of video issues or errors where it wouldn't play sometimes when I would want to stream it on my TV, not so much on the computer. So just something to think about. Yeah.
And if you get the annual subscription, just make sure you remember when it renews, because it'll just hit you out of nowhere. Because I got it to watch Made in Abyss and then a couple other anime, but then I just stopped.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's just like, bam, your renew is. I'm like, God damn, $65.
Yeah, because originally Oshinoko was only on High Dive, and then they moved Oshinoko to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And so, but then I forgot I had High Dive still.
And then
I re-added it because I made an Abyss, because I wanted to watch it based off of what Willie was talking about, and I was like, gosh darn it, I can't win with this freaking app because it's random anime. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't.
So, best main character, obviously, riding the popularity train. We got Sung Ji Woo from Solo Leveling. We also had Freerin. We had Kafka Hibino from Kaiju number 8. Okarun from Dan to Dan. Mao Mao from Apothecary. The more I say it, the harder.
Apothecary Diaries.
The more I say it throughout the day, it's just like, what is this word now? Momo from Dan to Dan, and then of course the winner, Sung Jinwoo from Solo Leveling. How we feel about this one, Jackie? Not a fan. Nobody's a fan of Sung Jinwoo winning.
DJ, please go first. I gotta pee, and I'm also.
Well, I'm gonna try to be gentle, because it sounds like Jackie's about to butcher somebody pretty hard.
Oh no!
But we're talking about Mr. Monotone, Mr. Very Little Emotion, Mr. Really not much depth to his story, except for, like you brought up, Willie. We understood the plot was because he's trying to save his, sickly mother. That's cool. It shows up one other time in the entire series. It's like, what? And then the rest of the time, I can't name anybody else. So of course you're going to be like, well, yeah, he's the main character, because nobody else is important. And it's just
he was selected.
Know, man.
He was selected based on being the main character of the flashiest anime at the moment.
Exactly. You're right. Danny's right. He's just a one-dimensional dude. He's all about battle. And it just becomes, I'm like, is he a bad character? Not necessarily. Could they delve more and make him more interesting? Absolutely. Because even his interactions with his sister, which are completely bizarre at times, when she mentions that he's hot, I was just like, but his interactions, they don't build on anything. They've introduced a couple people, like one of the females from the very beginning of the series, where it's like his friend, and she felt responsible because he got killed and she didn't save him because she was one of the healers.
Yeah.
She is almost non-existent. She just passes by occasionally. And I'm like, why? What are the bonds? What are the plot that, so no, compared to the other people on this list, he's about as shallow as a bird bath. So, okay.
The minute he, like, I liked him as a character leading up until his quote unquote rebirth, right? Sacrificing himself, saving other people. I'm like, very selfless type stuff. He died. He came back. I get it. He's trying to be low key because he doesn't want to let everybody know his full extent. Like he was playing that role for a long time, but when there's opportunities for him to show depth, like bringing his mom back, he cried. Now his friends are in trouble over on Jeju. I'll just transport over there. The exchange thing, which was a cold ending, by the way. I'm not going to hold that against him. He shows up there. You know, it's hard to get behind a main character like that when there's no real attachment to him, right? And then you're looking at the nominees on here. You got Kafka Hibino from Kaiju number 8, who's, you know, the underdog. He wants to be on the defense force. He can't. He ends up cleaning up the messes. He ends up getting the encounter. Now he can kind of fight alongside of him. You see what he's up against. Not to mention Okarun and Momo from Dan to Dan. Like I said, I haven't really got into all the way the Apothecary Diaries, but from what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing, you know, Mao Mao's up there, and then all of here you go, Jinwoo just sitting here rounding it out. Like, of all the people on here, character development, you're seeing them change arcs and stuff. Here's Shin, whose best arc came from being a rank E hunter to dying and then being reborn.
Yeah,
it's very, very lazy voting, like I said.
It is.
Main character of the most popular anime that's out right now. He must be the best main character. Let's vote for him.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Jackie. What are your thoughts?
You ever wonder what it would be like if someone...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's just how you started
If
it.
someone just you were at your desk having the greatest time doing your job, because we all love working and doing our jobs, but we're just working really hard at doing what we're supposed to be doing, and someone just fucking comes over, pushes you out of the way, pulls their pants down and takes a shit on your desk and then just walks away like it was nothing. That is what I imagine when I think about the selection of this character. Like, I have this shit on my desk and there's nothing I can do and I can't get rid of it or that smell for at least a week.
You really feel that bad about this, yeah?
Bro, I was so mad when I saw this. I love Solo Leveling. I think it's sick, the art and the action, and like it's a fun story. It's really fun to read, and because I read it and it was super fun. At no point did I ever think was Sung Jin Woo like the best main character ever out of anything that I've ever watched. Absolutely not. Never freaking thought that. What did Danny say? So we'll talk about it later about Alex Lee. Like, I agree. Like, Alex Lee is a really great English voice actor, and I did watch. So I did not watch this the first time in English, and then last night I was just watching some episodes in English, and yeah, dude, Alex Lee's pretty sick, and the dude was definitely living his fanboy moment, and I love that for him. But then when I see people on this list like Okarun, Momo, I know you haven't seen Apothecary Diaries.
Yep.
I don't think this is based off of character development. I think this is just overall main character. When I think of this, I don't think like what's the best main character that had character development. I think that can be considered. I think overall, what's the best main character though, and if that is a plus for character development, cool. I think if you want to include character development, then Kafka probably then would like take the trophy for that, just based off of like where he ended in season 1 compared to where he started. I just agree with you, Willie and EJ. Like, this is just people that love Solo Leveling. Just that's it. It's not, they don't care about the character. They just care about the fact that it's Solo Leveling, and they just love the action and the fact that the main character that's the action is this person.
I bet if you could have easily just took Jinwoo out and been like Igris, like the Shadow Knight.
Yeah.
And
yes.
people
way more interesting.
No, people still would have picked Igris, not knowing that Igris isn't even the main character. They just would have saw somebody from fucking
Solo Leveling and just selected
and went with it.
Yeah.
You could have put his fucking sister.
Igris is more interesting.
Right. Look at
They're
Danny.
like, don't know who that bitch is. Solo Leveling. Enter.
Danny.
Yeah, enter.
Danny.
Love that bitch. Don't know who she is. Love the fact she exists. Awesome. Good for
I mean,
you.
all these characters are so much more to them. I mean, even Apothecary Diaries, which has no real action and stuff and not like character building in the same way, but just listening, like I said, I do a lot of work on the computer gens finishing the series. Just listening, the monologues and the investigative and the way she thinks, everything going on in that series is so much more in depth than, I mean, I feel like the voice actor, people like the voice actor. That's cool.
This is
But
where we get out
they
of the
didn't give him a lot to
genres.
work with.
This is where we get out of the genres and we get to characters. And this is where I get so pissed that Orb on the movements of the earth wasn't mentioned fucking once. And I would totally pick even this over Sung Jin Woo and they have like 5 different fucking main characters.
Yeah.
And
Danny said it. He's like,
this,
bro, this is just the dude's bro choice. Like,
yeah, dude. Yeah. That's like the dude that you all know that is a piece of shit, but everyone somehow fucking loves. And we're all sitting here like, why? But it just happens, and that's just how it has to be.
All right. Best supporting character, we got Fern from Frieren. We got Himmel from Frieren as well. Jinsi from the Apothecary Diaries. Seiko from Dan to Dan, Senshi from Delicious in Dungeon, and Turbo Granny from Dan to Dan, with Fern being the winner. How do you feel about that, Jackie?
No, Willie. Me and EJ have been going first every time. I want to hear what you
let's hear from Willie.
From me?
Yes.
I do have thoughts, but I want to hear yours first. Mainly because you watch Delicious.
Not that Fern is a bad supporter. Like, I'm fine with this choice. I just wish, like, the only time I could possibly come up with a valid complaint is if they ranked the nominees in order of how they finished, and that Senshi was not second in this choice, and that's just to me. Nothing to take away from Himmel. Himmel was great as well. I wouldn't mind seeing Himmel at 3, right? But Senshi and Delicious in Dungeon, I feel. I'm hoping was 1A, 1B, like in a very close competition with Fern. The Dan to Dan characters, they can be on here. Not to say that they're not great, but I feel like the popularity of Dan to Dan kind of has them up here as well. Turbo Granny's funny. Is she the best supporting character when you got hitters like Fern and Himmel, Senshi, I assume Jinshi? Isn't that the love interest for
Jinshi? Jinshi, I would agree, is a really great supporting character.
Yeah. But yeah, the inclusion of Dan to Dan characters, not saying Dan to Dan should not be taken seriously when it comes to supporting characters and main characters. But this some categories across any award show, like you have your heavy hitters where you're like, it's going to come down to these characters. And then you got to fill out the nominees, so you'll just add a couple other things, right? Like the one year it was like Kendrick, Jay-Z, Kanye, and then it's like Macklemore. And you're like, well, there's no way he can. And then Macklemore fucking won it that year. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
What?
Right? So I feel that's what Seiko and Turbo Granny are here for, right? But for Fern winning this, I can see that. Yeah, my pick personally would have been Senshi, but I'm not mad at this one. This is one I can live with. What about you, Jackie?
I haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon, but from what I read on Reddit, everyone was saying what you're saying. This might be an unpopular opinion, and this is where I think Orb on the Movements of the Earth could have gotten its glory that I think it deserves. Is there's one character in it that is surviving in most of the episodes, while like because it switches main characters like a lot throughout the episodes, but there's one character that keeps on showing up that's a part of it, and I can't remember his name. I have to look it up, and that's where I'm upset that this dude didn't get the recognition he deserved. If anyone hasn't seen this show, like it's really great. It reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist a lot, just with just the art and just the fact of how the characters too. in the story a little bit. But the one dude is like the uh I don't want to say he's like the um security person of the church, if that makes sense. He's basically like, and he's not a messenger of the church. He's just like when the church needs someone to go away that doesn't agree with them, they put this person in charge to deal with it. And they go through this guy's backstory, and he's kind of involved in every single main character story of the show.
Mhm.
And that's why I kind of wish this dude was the best supporting character, because like I think that's amazing. Like you have different main characters, but then this guy's involved in most of it as he gets older too. And that's my only thing with that. I agree, Willie. Like having the Dan characters on there, cool. Don't think that they are great supporting. I actually almost would say Himmel is not a great supporting character either, because he's just a past character that was based off of like her memories.
Yeah.
But that's my only thing with this. I don't know. You'd have to watch Orb to understand what I'm saying. That I don't think Fern is the best supporting character, but you have to really like delve into like how deep this one dude actually is as a supporting character to all these main characters.
I would say, because I mean, if we sit here, like I would replace one of the Dan dudes with what's old buddy's name? Reno from Kafka's homeboy from
yes,
Kaiju number 8.
that's
right?
another one.
So I would say he'd be an awesome supporting character too. But
Yep.
so of the names on here though, of the nominees they have listed, you have no problem with Fern being the winner?
No, like I said, I would agree with you. That should have been Senshi, only based off of what I read.
Yeah.
I just cannot give you my own personal opinion because I haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon.
Right.
But from what I've read, I think that makes the most sense.
What you got, EJ?
I think to take a look at the category, the title of the category is very important here. Best supporting character, the way I look at it, is in the story. This character being in the story uplifts the main character, builds on the main character, and forwards the plot. So they have to be part of all three of those things. Because Turbo Granny is hilarious. But Turbo Granny doesn't do a whole lot to build on the primary characters or push the story forward as much as it just got the ball rolling. So Turbo Granny is a fan service being put on here. Out of the characters, I think Himmel is another one of those. Was he important or integral to the very beginning? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does he carry the story forward? Not so much. Does he build on free run when you're watching it? A little bit, but not nearly as much as Fern. So Fern is very integral to the progression of the story, and she makes Freyren more as the story goes on. Freyren becomes more. She didn't want to take Fern when it first started. So Freyren's development and maturity and growth is supported by Fern. So that's how you take the character. And like I haven't watched Delicious in Dungeon much. I've checked things out ever since you mentioned it.
Yeah.
And Senshi is one of those characters, is integral to the plot and the main character, and helps the story advance. Therefore, I could see those two. I support Fern being the winner here. Does Senshi should have been? Yes, Senshi's probably the neck and neck. The rest of the list, Apothecary Diaries, like I said, I've only seen peripherally, and I don't see the main and any side character being that huge in the story yet. Now, could they become more? Could they be more integral to the primary character? Yes, but the primary character is trying to keep themselves out of unwanted situations at the moment. So these other characters are less impactful on their own growth. So Fern deserves this. Senshi probably deserves this. The rest of the list, okay, I could see why they picked who they picked. And I agree with you. Dan to Dan was only on here for fan service. If any character in Dan to Dan deserves to be more of the building up the main characters, it's Obachan, because in the very beginning you get your two main characters going, and then they're kind of lost at a point, and Obachan comes in and kind of focuses them and gets them moving forward. And she does little tidbits to keep them growing, but she's also, you want to, she's interesting enough to where you want to know, like, how does she play into it, but she keeps them rolling forward. So in a way, I feel like she would have been a better pick from the Dan to Dan group, because she's integral to the main characters. One, she's the like mentor, and she's also the home base.
Dude,
It's kind of like
she's a gilf, dude.
yeah, but I mean she's like their Xavier.
Yep.
Professor X.
This is how you use your powers.
She's helping you learn how to be what you could be, but she's also the central anchor to the little team. You know what I mean? Fern is more of your side. Like Fern is like your Robin to Batman.
Yeah.
So that's why she is important. So both of the, I'm like, when they pick out these characters, I agree with Fern taking this spot very closely, though, with Senshi, as far as what they do for the story. So good category, good picks. Some of those I think are filler, like Willie said.
100%. Must protect at all costs character. I guess this is kind of a, I don't know.
Weird category.
Yeah, it's
Can I make an appointment? Can I make a comment?
Yes.
Sure.
I fucking hate this category.
It's
like
a
a
filler category. It's like, I guess.
This is your either fan pick character. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually hated this category.
Best anime song, though. Here we go. The winner.
I have no complaints.
The winner goes to Otonoke by Creepy Nuts, also the Dan to Dan opening theme. You had Abyss, the opening theme for Kaiju number 8. Bling Bang Bang Born, which was my vote. The opening for Mashal.
I haven't seen it, so I have to check it.
Fatal for Oshinoko Season 2.
Which was also really sick.
I will say Level by Tomorrow X Together for solo leveling. And then The Brave by Yasobi for Free Embryon Journeys In, which I thought was also a banger. So, of these, 1, 2, 3, I haven't heard Fatal. I would say
Did
four.
Did you watch any of them, EJ?
I have the Kaiju number 8. I haven't seen Mashal or Oshinoko. The rest of them I've seen. I did not like solo leveling at all. Dan to Dan, of course. Freyren's good, but Dan to Dan beats it out. And I'd have to take Willie's word on the other one because it's Creepy Nuts. Creepy Nuts is, I mean, they're on point.
The sample for our theme comes from Bling Bang Bang Born. That's the sample he used when that Mark used. So, like if I'm just thinking of the song, I'm cool with it. Now, if they were like intro, which included all of that other stuff, I do like the animation, the sequence, and everything for Abyss when Kaiju number 8's coming on. I think that's very cool. Bling Bang Bang Born was just a silly kind of. I like it was stylistic with the yellow and the black. Again, then it started the whole the dance that came with it that
went viral.
That took TikTok by storm. I haven't heard Fatal. Like I said, Level. Like I think the energy just wasn't there for it. I think the opening for season 2 was a little better.
Yes.
For that one, shout out because Lisa's on it. Go figure. That's how you win. That's how you win the game.
Exactly.
It is.
It is.
Throw her on anything, and that's it.
But
I'll like it. Yeah.
I do. The fact that Creepy Nuts has 2 entries on here is wild. That's letting people know.
It's well deserved.
What makes me a little bit frustrated about this whole thing is that, again, Shangri-La Frontier, their song.
Bro, they are 4 for 4 for openings.
That's what I'm saying.
And they didn't even get a nom, so they
That's
didn't get a nod. Yeah.
they didn't get a single win,
Because they're not solo leveling.
and that's
We're not trying to bash solo leveling for those listening.
No,
Like, we
it's
all
a
love
great
it.
show.
yeah.
for
You know
what it
what?
is.
We
Yeah,
all
I'm
like
sorry.
it.
That might make it seem like we are so. I think that
We're
we
more
all
mad
said,
at
like, in our
Crunchyroll.
past shows.
We're
we
more
all
mad at
agreed solo
Crunchyroll.
leveling was great. We said we were excited. We loved it. We did. We are so for love solo leveling. I think what's annoying though, and what makes it frustrating for us, is that we acknowledge that it's great. Is that you made it seem like it is the best of the best with everything, and that it needs to be in every single category. And we understand that's not fucking true because there's
No.
so many other anime that had like also very like I thought Level was a fun song. I did not think it needed to be on this. I think that definitely I think Shangri-La Frontiers open like anime song at least should have been a nominee on here. But I will say putting it on here though, compared to all of these were really great anime songs. Like
Yes.
all of them. This is a hard choice, but I will say like I love Otonoke. I listen to Bling Bang Bang Born like all the time. Love that song. Otonoke, I think people were picking this song with the sequence because if you look at the ending, they don't have ending song, they have ending sequence, which I thought was really weird. Why would you have ending sequence but then
Not have opening sequence.
I thought again frustration with like how they chose whatever. So I think that they took what ending sequence and they just I think people who voted also merged opening sequence with the song, which I also did.
Yep.
And I voted for Otonoke only because like the vibe
As a whole.
with the song for the show specifically, as you say, anime song. So it's a song for the anime, how it fit with it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Creepy Nuts is amazing. I wish he would have done that song at the Anime Awards instead of Bling Bang Bang Born, but I understand why he did that over Otonoke. It was so great, but I mean, all fire songs. You know me with my music; they're all fucking great. And I keep talking about Oshinoko. I haven't even seen season 2, but I just been watching.
Let me
it.
ask you this:
check it out. Yeah.
If they would have interchanged any of these other songs for a winner, you would have been upset.
Oh, I already said I agree with this 100%.
Okay.
No arguments.
All right.
The only thing I am saying again is where I get pissed off about is the nominees and the fact that again you have level by solo leveling, and it's again I'm gonna bitch about it when we go to the score part. I'm gonna keep on bitching. I'm sorry,
Jamie.
and I'm drinking more, so I'm talking more, and I'm getting more mad.
Yeah.
But
And that you're giving it straight though. I mean, I think I agree with everything you said. I mean, you're talking more, but you're making sense. Are a lot of these songs belong in this category? Absolutely. So I mean, but I agree.
But I
with the
also
winner.
know, like we talked about this with the music, Creepy Nuts and their upcoming and how they got to where they're at and their just creativity and how they were separate together, just all the things. Great band, deserve to be in this. I'm so happy they fucking won, and I'm so happy they opened up for the Anime Awards. I was not upset. It was amazing. I thought it was interesting seeing like the way that a Crunchyroll anime audience reacts to a show.
I was so mad. I was like, "There's no energy here." Like,
they were just sitting there.
Do y'all want to be there, or can y'all just give me your tickets and I'll go? Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Jesus Christ.
I was literally watching. I was like, yeah, and then all of a sudden, pans to the audience. I'm like, should I stop? And I'm just in my
So
computer.
reserved.
I'm in my house in my computer. I'm like, am I just supposed to be like
when Lisa
this?
when Lisa had her 3 songs and stuff? I'm like, are y'all not fucking with this or what? Like, this is fucking Lisa up here singing
Which
banger
I wanted
after
to be like,
banger.
is that Japanese audiences? Which is not true, because if you watch Japanese audiences in a live
Concert.
like venue, they're fucking insane.
Well, I think
with
this was
their
more of
lights.
the higher ups of these studios and stuff that are just
Yeah, it might be that the people.
so mad.
It's more of a formal event for them, so they're not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, Willie's like, all right, guys.
here we
Okay,
go to
this-
best anime score. Solo leveling, beating out. Now, when it comes to score, like I'm really into that as well. Like listening to the score and everything. I disagree with this 100%.
Okay.
To the point where it's so the score and the music for solo leveling comes
Season 1,
so
season
far.
1, not season
Even
2.
season 2, like the score and the music, while the action and stuff is going on, is so 3rd, fourth, fifth order of priority to me because it's all about the visuals at that point. There's no
And it
points
feels
during the
generic.
show. Yeah, there's no point during the show where there's a scene or a clip or something where the music in the background and you're just like, this is adding to it. Like this means something. I mean, because even shonen understand the importance of having the music match what's happening on the screen. You know, like you can cue up the score from My Hero Academia, and like when that certain cue comes on, you're like, oh, I know what the fuck's going on. Same shit for Naruto, same shit from Demon Slayer,
Dude,
something
Bleach
like that.
is like that.
Yeah,
Bleach
that's
is
what I'm
like,
saying.
as soon as you
Bleach,
hear
yes.
the song,
Yep.
you're like,
all of that
this is
stuff. So
it.
now you're just like solo leveling. I'm just like, I'm trying to think outside of opening and endings. If you
No,
played a clip,
so
if you played
remember-
any music from an episode in between opening and endings from solo leveling, you're like, check this out. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know?
I know what they're basing this off of. Remember, well, again, I think it's recency bias because if you in the second season they did a lot more like this will make I don't know if Spotify is just not showing the entire score for some of these animes because if you look up Friren's soundtrack, bro, they have a whole fucking album with disc 1, disc 2
Yeah.
for each season, and it is like if you play Dungeons and Dragons, if you do any tabletop RPG, if you want to just listen to some fantasy type of shit,
Very sweeping, epic
dude,
music.
you just
Yeah,
play their fucking soundtrack and you're on a fucking journey with that.
that's what I
So-
mean. Yeah, I enjoyed I'm here working.
Yes.
It's playing on the side, but just the production of it is just beautiful.
And Dan, like if you put their soundtrack on, bro, with the little EDM, like whatever it puts in, and then just a little bit of violin. And then you have Shiro Sagisu, which takes even old school Bleach, makes it better, takes some of the ones that we love the best when it hits like sad parts and then also action, and then it made it better for Thousand Year Blood War. And then so Hiroyuki Sawano did a great job.
Yeah.
What I say by that is, I think what people are attributing it to is remember when he first realized he had to kill everybody in that, in the cave.
Yeah.
So that one was like Aria is the song
Yeah.
that he composed that, and I think that's what people like are attributing it to. And then again, this recency bias only because I was watching it again. Every time there's a huge action scene, it's this nerd having like music in the background, but it's singing and it's a little bit of choir, but it's just a female voice that like kind of builds up, and it does make the action scene just seem so much more epic. And I think that's why they selected this.
Yeah,
Just based off of those. Only those
feels
select
so-
action scenes compared to the entire anime as a whole. That's what
Yeah.
I think. I agree. Sorry, EJ, just give me a second because this makes. I agree. This shouldn't be it. I acknowledge that when we watch, like, I'm trying not to do season 2, but I think it's still recency bias. Like when his mom finally woke up, that song in the background, bro. And then when he fought the Ant King, the song in the background was different. It was also pretty sick. Like I watched it again, it was really sick. I think that's what people are going off of instead of what I think a lot of us look at is the entire score and the original soundtracks, the OSTs that cover the whole adventure, which I don't think Solo Leveling had it all besides just those specific one-offs. That's it. And I think that's all those people are anchoring off of.
Yeah.
Whereas like Frieren, the whole I
score.
didn't watch Look Back, but I did listen to Look Back's entire soundtrack last night. Very fun, very nice to listen to, very easy, almost like a Ghibli like soundtrack, but a little bit more modern. It was nice. Dan and Dan's is sorry, someone else take it.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
mean,
EJ.
you're absolutely right.
I'm just very. You guys know. I told you guys. You guys know me when it comes to music and also scores. What are we talking about when it comes to scores? Because Hiroyuki Sawano also did some of the opens and endings. Like I don't consider the opening and endings scores. I consider the score being like the middle part and the
stuff playing
background
during
part.
show,
Like
yeah.
how are you setting the fucking scene?
how does it add to what you're watching, and how does it amplify the situation? Yeah, combat, you get that, you get that chorus and the orchestra, but I felt like it's generic. It's like it's expected. It's like you get tired of hearing the victory song for Final Fantasy all the time. You spin this sword, boop, ba-doo. You're like,
Mm.
it's generic. You expect it. It didn't get flashy. It didn't do anything to build it, and you're like,
Danny,
okay, it's okay. Does it deserve to be the best? Absolutely not. I mean, you're looking at, I think, in the head here when you guys are talking about Bleach. Bleach amplifies your pulse with the moment. And I feel like that's what the score is supposed to do. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be just expected. It's supposed to be like a I don't know, like a rallying cry at certain points, like a oh shit, moment. Or and I don't know, to me, Freerun was excellent overall as far as the score is very epic and sweeping. It brings you into the world. It immerses you. Look Back, though, is a movie. I don't know if that should fall into the same area because, of course, you could focus on the score of your movie. You only have 2 hours to work on.
well, here's my
You
question on
don't
that.
have to be as broad with it.
Here's my question on that, and I don't know. This might be a stupid question. When you guys think of, and I'm going back to the Grammys and the Oscars, and they talk about like the best score, are TV show scores in that category with movie scores?
No.
Like Lord of the Rings, for example. You put Lord of the Rings with Game of Thrones.
I think it's different because you have more of a budget when it comes to movies. And your TV shows, because your movies are like, bro, we're not coming back for like Grey's Anatomy theme, like score. Nobody knows that. Bitch, it's like 22 fucking seasons of this shit. It's the same
Who gives a
fucking.
fuck about that? It's
That's what I'm saying.
Grey's
Like-
Anatomy. I don't give a shit
Like
about that
movies,
score.
movies are like, we have to have something memorable, right? To have people
Mhm.
come back to watch this thing over and over, get the DVD or whatever it was. Like certain themes, like the Avengers theme, when you hear that shit, dun 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 dun, you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
it's about to
You
go
know.
down.
Yeah.
It's
Iron
memorable.
Man, like yeah, so they have more money to put behind it. I think people underestimate the importance of a good score to amplify what you're putting on. I think when it comes to anime, and not to say Ufotable is doing this because they're not, they also know the importance of music with their stories and their
Yeah.
anime on top of amazing animation. Like I'm surprised they didn't make it on here. You
Mhm.
know,
Demon Slayer?
is it on here? Let me see. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
Okay, cool.
But it's because those, I looked them up because I was trying to look them up. I went on Spotify. This is where I was saying that I don't know if these scores, if they have their own album of those scores,
Because
is somewhere
unless
else. 'Cause
they're
on
like-
Spotify, I couldn't find it.
Certain scores for certain seasons instead of like the
Yeah.
entire thing or whatnot.
Exactly, because those two, they brought up like Homura, for example, and
Oh.
yes, but then when I listened to it, it wasn't Lisa, it was just like Yuki Kajura's, like, I don't know if it's their
Yeah,
I don't know, and so it's hard for me to understand what they were
Mhm.
basing the score off of for that, because I didn't know what I didn't know, and I know that like Demon Slayer has good background music, and I like it.
Mhm.
But when all of the animes that are on this list, and I'm going to only compare these animes, the ones that I always hear, and I haven't even seen Thousand Year Blood War,
Yeah.
but I know because
Yeah.
when I looked up on Spotify, that whole fucking album, it's like they took some originals that were from the 2011 and prior
Yep.
like season, and they either made it better or they created new ones, and I was like, yo, this is sick. And then my other thing is like you have shows, but then you have Look Back, which is a film. And you talked about this, Willie. You said movie versus show, and that's why I brought up movie versus show. This is why I said Game of Thrones versus Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
We think of best score. Are we going to consider movies versus shows for this? Because that's what they're doing here. They have shows, and then they have one movie, which is Look Back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, Look Back was good, but overall, like when I think of score still,
Mhm.
no matter what, to me, it doesn't matter if it's a movie or show.
Right.
It's just was the music so impactful and so great that I was like, yo, this is sick. And I think of Freerin and fucking Dan when I think of that. And then also Bleach. Close second for that. But I think for Bleach for me is a more nostalgic
Nostalgic.
thing. So then I have to think about more Dan and Freerin. And I don't know. I was going back and forth between both, but I think I picked Freerin overall for me.
Yeah, I could see Free Run winning. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the score, like just having the music play in the back, and it just reminds you of certain parts of the show that you've seen. Because like even video games will do that now. Like you'll put on the score for like a game like Destiny, and you'll hear
Yeah.
certain music
Or
during certain points of the games, or like Halo.
what's the one on
or
Xbox?
something.
Halo.
Yeah,
Halo.
the Halo theme. You just remember certain parts of the game you were playing where you're like, oh, that's that part where this.
And
is
I've
going
never
on.
even played Halo, and I still will listen to Halo
Right.
soundtrack because it's that good.
Yep. So, Freerin, like I said, that could have easily been up there. I hear your point when it comes to best score. Again, I'm thinking they're just leaning more on season 2, which I think if Crunchyroll just took the time to say, hey, Solo Leveling season 1, people would have probably hopefully gave them the chance, caused to pause. Like, hey, well, wait a minute. I'll wait for next year to vote for my show. But
I mean, when you look at a score,
yeah,
I think one of the best examples is John Williams with Star Wars. From the Imperial March to the touching moments, or to the inspirational moments, all those sounds. When the Jedi has an inspirational moment, you're going to get that feel good music between, like you hear it when Luke's training, Yoda's talking to him. You get the Darth Vader's Imperial March with this stuff, and shit's about to get real. John Williams, without anything else, you could listen to the soundtrack of Star Wars and be taken on a journey where your mind is going to relay all these events that happened because it was so integral to the actual movie.
yeah,
It built on every emotion, from the loss of Obi-Wan all the way through. Every part, the music carried you through the motion. Han Solo going light speed and getting away. All of the stuff is amplified by the score. In this selection, you're looking at, Freyrin was built like with that score to carry you through the whole journey. Bleach, the score carries you to each battle, to each event, to each interaction. Dan makes you feel that energy, that vibe of the whole series with its music. Demon Slayer, of course, man, that's heartstrings right there. You know what I mean? So, out of everything that's put on here, no, I don't agree with this selection at all. And I am one that feels like, Look Back being a movie, it was able to focus on tailoring just to the events of 2 hours. So it's much easier. Instead of, I've got 38 episodes, so roughly 20 something hours of music that I want people to not get tired of. To not be like, oh, this is bland. So it's a lot more to consider with a series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this going to get old? Are people going to get tired of hearing the battle music or the touching motion? Is it going to become goofy? So I don't know. I don't agree with the pick, and I don't think Look Back belongs in there. And I think the standouts for this, to me, is Bleach or Freerun.
Yeah. Opening sequence kind of ties in with the best anime song, I would assume, because I didn't see a closing one for anime.
Yeah, and
song,
I actually almost take back what I said about Otonoke a little bit now. I completely forgot there was a sequence versus just a song.
Uh-oh. So would you change your best anime song then?
Yeah.
So what?
I don't remember what I picked for the song. I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Did you? It was like literally right here.
Yeah. So, sorry, Willie, do you have to pee at all?
I don't.
Okay, cool. So, I just never saw you go pee, so I didn't know if you wanted us to talk about a thing while you went.
Oh, cool.
But anyways, so
It was a very random moment. Completely random
Well,
moment.
because I went pee and I thought as I was leaving while I was listening to you, EJ,
Uh-huh.
and the whole time I'm like, I forget that I don't have my thing here anymore. That I'm like, yep, agree. And then I was thinking, like, did Willie go pee yet?
He's been drinking mimosas as well.
I know, and I already broke the seal forever ago. But no, the reason why I say this is because I realized I didn't have it copy and pasted on my thing.
But yeah.
When I compared now the opening song to the opening sequence now, and Otonoke winning both, I will say that, like, now I think I picked Bling Bang Born for the song, but I think I picked Otonoke for the overall, like, opening sequence.
Yeah.
Because the song was great too. Like, I did listen to Otonoke so much and Bling Bang Born so much. Like, Spotify can tell me maybe what I listened to more. Maybe it was Otonoke because I did like the vibe more, a little bit of how it switched. But I do think maybe Bling Bang Born was the better song, but Otonoke was the better sequence.
I can roll with that. I agree.
I don't know. You let me know what you think, Willie.
I agree. I just wish, like I said, Kaiju number 8, man, like Abyss, the opening sequence, the vibe of the song leading into that. I think that hopefully that was in contention for it. But to be honest, I didn't see anything beating, like, any kind of opening sequence, best intro song, best anything beating Dan to Dan, based on, like I said, recency bias. Like, Masho wasn't as popular as it was. Like, even with the song blowing up, people still didn't know what the anime was. But Dan to Dan, people know what the anime is. People know what the song is, and they're just rolling with it.
And those colors and the hands, and then the Rihanna reference, like, it was amazing.
Yep. So, not upset
Overall
with
sequence,
it. Yeah, not upset with it. I do hope that Abyss did get some consideration with that, because what I don't want is...
It deserves love. It does.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
Ending
great.
sequence. Request.
EJ, you first.
Come on, guys.
Dude,
Come on.
nice mustache. Let's give credit, by the way. I don't know if we ever did, to EJ's mustache and beard. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Oh
Thanks you.
It's a little gray right here, but it's okay.
Oh, it gets bigger and better. That's why I keep it trimmed, because otherwise I'd look like I'm trying out for Santa for the holidays. Come on. I don't know what else we can say. This is just people picking, really just picking on what's their favorite popular thing going on.
Did you guys watch the end sequences for all of these?
Yep.
No.
Okay, then Willie, you go first before I go.
I like Kaiju number 8. That was my pick. I like Nobody by One Republic. I like the vibe, because I'm a big fan of, you have this, the opening being what it is, creepy DNA splicing, all of this stuff, creating a monster. You have the show where they're fighting the monsters, and then at the end you just have this vibe where it's just like very chill, pastel colors, like almost like a lo-fi type thing. You got the the professor in there.
Too. Like, come on.
Or it's One Republic.
Oh, One Republic. Oh my God.
But yeah. If it was Maroon 5, I would not have chosen it. I am not.
I literally have One Republic right here. I don't know why I said Maroon 5.
I'm not a big fan of that.
It's okay.
Falsetto forever.
I read
voice.
One Republic and I said Maroon 5 for some reason.
Yep. So and that was my choice, and I get it. Like, again, Solo Leveling is gonna have the brand new anime fanboys and girls that come onto the thing, and this is the only anime they watch, so they're just like, I think I'm, credentialed enough to vote for animes now, and they just click on this, right? Dan to Dan was gonna be on there regardless. I did kind of like let's see if I could say it right, Kamakura style on the Elusive Samurai.
Yeah. It was fun. That was a fun ending.
Yeah.
But like I haven't watched the show. I remember you guys put me onto it. I plan on watching it, but again, like it's just the vibe.
You didn't like Oshinoko's ending?
Oh, Shinoko's?
Yeah, did you watch that one?
I did.
I didn't.
I mean, it's like, but my heart was already set on like Nobody by on Kaiju number 8. I'm not saying it was bad. Like if it
I thought
definitely
this
would
was
have
a
beat
hard choice.
it definitely
when
would
I
have
watched
beat
all these.
Request, and nothing against Solo Leveling. Like it's I don't I do know. I'm sitting there, I don't know why these things keep. I know why, but I think if people just sat down and they only had one vote to give, because I think some people are voting for, somebody will vote for Republic or One Republic, nobody, and go on about their business and not
One
come back.
Republic. Oh yeah.
It is
Yeah.
One Republic. So
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep thinking
So, but
it's
like-
something different.
like
Please
somebody like
ignore
me-
what I'm saying about that.
somebody like me, like I'll vote one time and then I go. Like I'm not logging on every day to vote. And
Yeah.
I
That's
think
what I
some
did.
of
I
these
just did
people,
one vote and I moved on,
some of these people are logging on, like setting a timer to come back and vote and vote and vote and vote and vote.
which is crazy.
And I think if everybody was just limited to one vote, I think a lot of these categories would turn out different. But
Yeah,
for
I
me,
agree.
this
Yeah.
one here, I would say nobody for me, Elusive Samurai, and then like you said, Burning.
Yeah.
That was up there. Like Solo Leveling would not even have been in.
Wouldn't have been my
EJ,
top
if
five
you
at all.
if you haven't listened, even if like Oshinoko wasn't picked, Hitsuji Bungaku, that band just is really fucking good. They have I think they also did an opening for, I can't even think off my top of my head. I have to look it up. But I liked it only because Oshinoko is a pop. Again, it's a idol pop drama, but the
Mhm.
ending was so dark. If you watch you have to watch on YouTube. It was so dark, and Hitsuji Bungaku is a rock kind of like it's a J rock, and I thought it was a really sick ending
I
that
have
I
to
was
check
like,
it out. Yeah.
can't do it, because I also, Willie, like I agree with you. I loved Kaiju number 8's ending, but when I watched Oshinoko's ending, I was like, damn, this is actually really sick. And then I looked up everyone's on Reddit. Read everyone's responses to all the endings. And a lot of people said that they think that the reason why Solo Leveling probably won is because of the different art style that they decided to go with at the end. How it was kind of realistic and kind of psychological. And it was kind of cool looking. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of cool how they did for Solo Leveling. Danadan was pretty. I also am very like biased to Danadan. I love Danadan's ending, like because I always do this with like the cat when they
Yeah.
do this part. Like
It's fun. It's a fun. ending
I
sequence.
actually thought this category was really hard to choose.
It is.
And
It is.
I'm not totally mad about this best ending sequence, but I agree with you, Willie. I wish One Republic would have gotten more love, because it's like the first time I've seen a popular American, like One Republic's very popular, and they got to do an ending for an anime, and I kind of wish they would have got more love with this, because it, like you said, it was such a cool sequence with like the colors and the animation style, that because again it's sequence, it's not just the song.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With
It's
that,
the whole package. Yeah.
with this song, dude, I agree, it's really good, but I do think Oshinoko's was a very close. I don't know, I thought Oshinoko's was really good and a close second.
Yeah. I have to go with the Kaiju number 8 as well. I mean, I haven't seen the Oshinoko, and I will check it out now after hearing from you guys. And of course, Dan to Dan's fun. It's a fun ending sequence. But as far as fitting the story and kind of being encompassing, I guess is a good way to put it. I feel like nobody is should have got this one, but
Nobody.
Mhm.
you know, it's a popularity thing, and the voting thing really played a huge part. I mean, there's no doubt in that.
Trying to see something. I'm like, oh, December of 22. Okay.
What were
But
you
I was-
looking up?
Chainsaw Man episodes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh man's got.
you know, that's what I'm excited about for next season.
Yeah.
Is Chainsaw Man and what's the other one? Hell's
Hell's
Paradise.
Yeah. They're going to be, setting up for this next award season. So, I mean, there's going to be a good amount of competition out there. to
Yeah.
to base
This
these
one,
against.
I actually, sorry, I know we're not done yet.
Now I think we
but I
just
will.
got two more. I want to do is I don't know if you want to talk or if you're want to talk about the Japanese voice actors compared to the English voice actors.
I do. Well,
Okay.
definitely the English. We can talk about the Japanese, but I do want to talk about the English because I actually did do research on
Okay,
that because
let's
I
scroll
don't normally watch
to.
English.
Here we go.
Right
So
there.
obviously the winner is of course Alex Lee
Alex.
as Sung Jin Woo, Solo Leveling, our monotoned best boy, best main
actors,
character,
yeah.
best in the history of anime since the beginning of
Yeah.
time. I'm playing. Let me calm down.
I'll be right back.
Again, I love Solo Leveling. The amount of glazing it's getting is kind of making it like I think you guys are just not comprehending the talent and the greatness of the other shows around it. But that's just me. Go ahead, Jackie. What you got?
Do you ever? Sorry, because I know we're on the English, but while EJ's gone, because I do want to hear if he's listened to any of the English voice actors or actresses. Do you ever feel like because something gets so much hype and then wins so much that it might turn off now a lot of other people that haven't seen it?
No. Because there's the fear of missing out. People, when something's super popular, people are going to tap into it. And if it's easily available for them to get to, they'll check it out. If it's something they probably got to pay for, I guess that may turn some people away from it. And then they'll go watch something they can watch and talk about how great that is because they can watch it and the other one isn't because they can't type stuff,
Yeah.
But no, fear of missing out's a real thing, and if a lot of people are talking about how great something is, they're gonna tap into it.
Yeah, I think the reason why I asked that is because for the longest time I refused to watch what was it? It was
Which one?
Invincible.
Oh,
I
over on
refuse-
Amazon? Yo.
I refuse to watch Invincible because so many people were watching it and talking about it, and maybe this is just like a annoying habit or character trait of mine, but when people are like, watch this, watch this, watch this, you have to watch this, this is a thing, watch this, that almost makes me not want to watch it then. Because I'm like,
well, if
no.
I think it just depends on how you. Because I'm like, anytime I'm just like, oh, this show is so good. Like I always tell people, just give it a shot because I know.
Yeah.
Everybody will say this isn't like people were trying to preach like Rick and Morty was the next coming of great adult entertainment, and I'm watching. I'm like, it's okay. It's like nothing different than the rest of the adult animation, Family Guy. So like it's the same brand of humor except the dude's like a super genius or something now. Like you haven't watched season 2 yet? I haven't even finished season 1. I haven't. There's like season 9 coming out or something. Like that's just not my thing. Bob Burgers like. It just depends. I'll give it a shot, and if I don't like it, my problem is when I tell them, yeah, I tried to watch it. It's just not for me. What? How is it not for you? Like that's what I'm just totally.
Everybody's got their own,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is when I said I didn't watch Invincible yet, people are like,
oh, is that how they were selling it to you?
Why haven't you watched it? I'm like,
now I don't want to watch it. Now I don't want to watch it. Yeah.
And then finally, Steven's like, can you please just watch this? And I'm glad I did because great. It's fucking fantastic show. But I just, this is where I get like nervous about when some shows sweep is like some people are either on the one end where they're like, oh, I must have to watch this. Or the other people are like, but what about these other ones that were nominees that they didn't talk about? And now they won't watch the thing that people were overhyping.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That can hurt. I mean, that's the whole thing about these help and they what we get in the future. Because I mean, they're going to mold. The studios are going to mold what they think is the biggest selling or most popular thing and shoot it out, like crazy. And if that's what we're going to get, if we're going to keep ranking these in this manner and keep getting like more focus on action and pretty, then we're going to lose out on stories. And I feel like, things like Cutting Edge Hero, Zenshu is mentioned. He mentioned Zenshu could sweep next year. Zenshu is a very cool idea, thing, but are we going to get no more Zenshus and we're just going to get more, carbon copies of
Yeah.
Solo Leveling?
Yeah. But
know?
sorry, EJ, we wanted to wait till you came back. Have you watched any of the English voice actings of any of these shows?
Yes. I only did Solo Leveling in English.
Oh, nice. So what I want to know then what your thought is, because he was chosen as the
I feel like
best voice artist.
Is he a good voice actor? Absolutely. Was this a good measure of his talent? No. The character has very little opportunities to express that level of emotion what makes you great as a voice actor, or just the range between funny, sad, angry. It's so man. And it's like, okay, why is he the best? Or why is this the best performance? Did we get him? I mean, to me, I anchor a lot of these against some of my biggest favorites, like Demon Slayer can get over the top sometimes with some of their emotions, but when they have the moments that are meant to be conveyed in a way, and the voice actor hits the mark perfectly, like to me, Tanjiro does that often.
Oh, really?
Like,
for English?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
even
okay.
though sometimes it can be over the top, just the level to which he can convey his feelings when he's reading through his lines, emotion and feeling come with the line. You know what I mean? And then in this, I felt like a lot of it's just basic, like, I'm going to have to switch up to my next level of power. I'm going to have to unleash this next enemy. It's like, okay. It doesn't give the opportunity for me to go, man, that was a stellar performance. Man, he had me there,
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't give me those opportunities. It's not a knock on the actor. It's a knock on the script. And for them to select this as it, where, I mean, like when Okarun's sharing how he feels in Demon Slayer, go from a moment where she's picking on him or whatever, and he'll start to say, well, that's okay because you're my only friend or something. And the way the voice actor is able to take the moment from her making fun of him, everyone laughing, and bring it down to where you're like, she goes, oh man, I feel bad. He is genuinely sweet. They are able to convey that in that quick moment of his voice acting going, well, it's okay that you feel that way or you said that because you mean that much to me. You're my only friend. Whoa, you just got me. You know what I mean? I don't feel like that happened at all in that series. And it was just like, okay, once again, we take an opportunity where, like, here we go. We got Delicious and Dungeon on there, and the only times I've seen any of that has been in English. There's way more range going on, and I think that's how you measure an actor, even more than just a voice actor, an actor in general that can give you range. Thus, we have instances like The Rock. Everybody loves The Rock. Can he give you range? He can do comedy and he can do action. We haven't seen a whole lot in any other direction. So
yeah.
But would he win on a popularity vote? Probably.
Yeah, he's The Rock.
Him a great boy or a great actor.
Willie, I know you like to watch things in sub before you go in dub.
Yep.
A lot with a lot of shows. And I've also been taking your suggestion lately, where I will, after I watch it in sub, I will watch it in dub. And usually I do it when I'm running on the treadmill. I'll switch to dub. Like I'm doing that for JJK. I've been watching JJK in all dub. Actually not mad in JJK dub. So
see,
I'm trying to be more. Sorry, we're getting a little off topic. Only, well, kind of, because we're talking about English. But I'm doing it only because I think that I should try and give some love to our English voice actors. And so I've been doing that now with, like, watching.
Especially when you go to the cons. Like, you're not getting the Japanese voice actors coming to the cons over here. You'll get a lot of the American ones. So I want to get signatures. I want to know who's showing up. I want to give them their props and be like, hey, you really brought this character to life thing, instead of showing up there And I'm just like, well, I'd never heard of you do his voice. You know, I don't want to do that. So that's why I've been making it more of a point to get out there and do that. But Jackie did send me this message telling me to get off my phone. But all I was doing is just looking at the catalog.
You didn't call me out like that, asshole.
Yeah, I was just looking at the catalog of everybody that Alex has voiced, and I'm just like,
yeah,
you know,
it's crazy, right?
Like he is an amazing voice actor. His role as Jinwoo is not good.
Yes,
it's all we're saying. We're not saying he's not good. This is just a boring character for him to voice. Like, sometimes you just pick up the contract where you're just like, sometimes there's amazing actors and actresses that will take a script and then they get in a movie. They're just like, bro, this movie did not do well at all. This was a horrible choice. Not saying this is a horrible choice for him, because obviously it should be making him some money, because one of the more popular shows
very
out
popular.
there. It's just, you know.
Well, I think it was Danny. Danny's the one. I think it was Danny that said that the only reason why he was liking something about some voice acting or anything was Alex, which was the dude that was voicing the English part.
I mean, he does the voice for not Tanjiro, Zenitsu.
The lightning.
Zenitsu. So Zenitsu. I'm just like, you go from as animated and exciting and just hyper as Zenitsu, screaming, crying all the time, and then you got exchange, arise.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
Which, I'm not gonna lie, I listened to the English voice, and I was like, okay.
Nah, dude, I mean, he probably pulls some chicks, you know.
Yo, he sounds hot as fuck, but also, like, I don't see the... again, agree. Amazing. Like, his range, amazing. What he did in Solo Leveling, compared to the other people that I think that are on this, no.
I will say, for me, my selection for this is AJ Beckles' Okarun, because God damn it, that dude nails it.
He's the same dude that does the same voice when he transforms.
Yep.
And in the English version, when he transforms, is so fucking cool.
I don't know. I'm
he's all laid back and like, oh man,
that's a bummer.
I guess I'm boring AF right now.
Yeah.
Bro,
I'm like,
that's
the range I'm looking at when I'm just like, who put in work for this character, for this show? Not the career thing, which I think it may be a thing they did for Alex. Like, man, he voices so many other people and this, that, and the third. Like, I even would have went with old buddy that voices Ichigo. Former Black Ranger, Johnny Lee Bosch or whatever.
He's been the voice actor since 2006 when this shit came out.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I was, and again, I'm a big fan of Delicious in Dungeon. Sungwon Cho as Senshi, the gruffleness of kind of incorporating that because he's a dwarf in the thing, like just incorporating that, still being able to, while making that voice, still display some of the emotions and stuff that he's going through in the show. Everybody else on here, like there's a range of emotion in their voice acting.
Yeah,
I'm not getting that from Jinwoo, and I mean it's no different.
He just sounds cool. That's all it is.
Yeah. Dude,
like if you, sorry, Willie, can you scroll up to the Japanese? Because I want to see if the Dan Japanese. No, down. Oh, no. See, it was Mamo. Okay.
Yep. So you got Momo on here from Dan. And then you also got the Japanese actors, Okarun, which he also does a good job.
He did the same thing as the English actor. That's why, like, I love Mamo. Love this show. Love the voice actress for this. However, the fact that the actor of Okarun goes from normal Okarun voice to then switches. Is the same person. He is not a different actor.
Yep.
When he goes into his transformation, it's a totally different voice, and it sounds so cool. Mamo doesn't switch; it's the same. That if you're going to give the English actor that award, I think personally the Japanese actor should have gotten the same award. Mamo did a great job. I do love Mamo's voice. I think Mamo and Freeren's voice is great. Even Kenichi and Braver, like it's really great. But the fact that as an actor you have to switch different voices when your character does different things and you're the same person that does it, I think hands down, no matter what, those people should have won over everyone else.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was a little upset about for the Japanese actor. I think that the
Across the board, just look. So he won, obviously in English, right? The
yeah,
voice actor for Brazilian Portuguese won for Jinwoo. For Castilian Spanish, the dude won. English, he
oh, that's
won.
crazy.
Let's see if he won in any other voices.
I
I
don't
don't think so.
know.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
seems
that's
to be
it.
wrapping it up. But I mean, I'm just maybe it's because it's so low maintenance. Like you don't need to do too much to get it.
And you
But
can make it seem very throaty and mature
yeah,
and
but
sexy.
bro. You
Yeah, I
got
think
AJ up
maybe.
here. AJ Breckles doing what he's doing for Okaroon. You know what I'm saying? As well as Sung Won Cho as Senshi. I'm just of those two. I did listen to some of the some Freerin in English, and I'm not mad at Mallory for her
Mm-mm. No, it was
interpretation of
good.
that. Yeah,
It's good. I mean, I
But
feel
it
like
was so
Delicious in
different.
Dungeon though shows an actor who creates a persona for the voice.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's not it's a developed persona. It's not their normal voice. They're not talking like a normal person. So it takes effort and he keeps it alive and he comes back for it all the time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that shows skill, to be able to walk in and carry this character's voice, which is completely different than your own, sounds different. It's like Jackie was saying, where they have two different voices they're doing with the same character. These all take talent, and not saying that Alex doesn't have talent. We all know he does.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
yeah, and
this
I
was
listened
not
to
an
his
example of his
characters.
talent.
Yeah, and his characters in what were the shows? Demon Slayer as
He does Mashal's
like
voice too, or Mash Burnjade. He does
yeah,
Mash's
and
voice too.
Tokyo Revengers.
Yep.
Different. He doesn't even sound the same.
No.
Dude is a great actor. Agree though, Willie. Like
This
as
character.
Shinwoo though, mediocre man. And I think though that he matches though the vibe of what the director and the creator wanted though, and I think that should speak more volumes than anything.
Shout out, Danny.
It's
Girl,
the alcohol.
stop. Girl,
It's the
stop.
alcohol, Jackie, thinking of like, I want a mature throaty man.
Yeah, it's just
Arise.
it makes
But
sense.
no,
though.
I listened to his when I wasn't drinking last night. I listened to his voice actor, and it's very like in command, like chill type of voice, and even men will take that as like, dude,
Yeah.
this dude is the fucking
He
dude.
conveys
Like
the
they will
alpha,
take that of
of
yes,
personality.
and I
Yeah.
think that's what some and again, and I have to speak from a woman's point of view if that's what I
Yep.
think is attractive. Of like, yeah, this is what I want, but that's not what I think. I think of like what we talked about, Dan to Dan, where you can go from this high pitched, like crazy, and I think AJ Beckles did such a good job of his voice almost matches the Japanese.
Yeah.
Like it almost is the exact same.
Same energy
Like
too.
yes, and then when they
Later,
switch,
Danny.
also the same. Like I love that when like English voice actors are able to portray the same thing. And this is
They're
where I
obviously
didn't.
listening. They go ahead and they listen so that they
Yes,
build the character to
yes.
match, because of course your Japanese voice actors are going to understand and know the nuances of culture and everything that go
And it's
with the script.
and it's different because we if we spoke Japanese and how people talk is going to be different in like regular, like you don't know, like sometimes you don't know, but sometimes when we watch, and we all know we watch anime and Japanese sub and dub, and we listen to sub, we're like, yeah, this voice is great, and then we watch dub, we're like, what the fuck?
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Freeman, for example, I might be one of the few because I heard that Freeman's voice, people on the English side were like, holy shit, this is mommy. But I hated it. Like her voice actress on the sub, I really liked because it sounded older, but also had a childish, uh, like tone a little
Mm.
bit to it because she does act childish sometimes, even though she is
She's naive,
much
yeah.
older. She's still young though. She didn't have anyone to raise her. She had no family. Like she had nothing. Then you watch the English version. She's like this super mature, like MILF sounding voice, you're like, oh my gosh, this is such a nice. And I was like, I can't listen to this voice. It doesn't sound like Frieren. I didn't like it, but I guess a lot of people that watch the English dub really like her voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. My
Just
whole
leave it
thing, like I
Morgan
said,
alone.
it's one of those. I'm looking at range. Like maybe Alex does fit what the director and the writer was thinking. Hey, this is what I want my character to sound like. This is what Jinwoo sounds like. He makes him sound like that. It's not his fault. Hey, this is how we want you to read the lines,
Exactly.
Alex. Cool. But what I'm looking at, if I'm gonna give somebody some props and give them an award for voice acting, I went with AJ Beckles. And if you look
Yeah.
at all the
Agreed.
characters he's voiced, like he always brings that type of energy to that situation. I'm just like, bro, keep it
Just
up.
the switch. He's the same person. Like
Keep
the
it up.
fact, dude, and like in the very first episode, he's like, shy boy.
Yep.
Can't bro, when I watched that first episode and I died laughing because it actually sounded more funny in the English version than it did the sub. And I'm like, dude, this guy's killing it.
Yeah,
This guy's great.
I loved it, man. So great. Shout
Hey,
out
Beckles, if you ever watch this, which you might not, but if you do,
friend of the podcast. Come by anytime.
yeah, please.
Come by anytime. So those are pretty much the ones we wanted to hit on. Give us your thoughts. Let us know how you guys feel about them in the comments. All of that amazing stuff. But we'll go ahead and switch back over to our regular scheduled program and wrap up the show. If I can find the video. Here we go. All right.
Video.
We'll do
Oh,
it for
that
real
rhyme.
this time.
Apologies.
No, it's
You
fine.
a
It's all
rapper.
good. Did you say you are?
I knew this. Did you like that at the
You
end?
are a rapper.
You're a rapper. Bro, I was laughing so hard. I was like, I don't know if I should stop laughing when we go back to it or if I should continue laughing because I couldn't stop.
No, it's all good. It is all good. But I know we switched over, but just for you guys' heads up, I know I mentioned it in the chat, but IGN also gave Anime of the Year over to Frieren, and then also the Tokyo Anime Award Festival gave it to Frieren as well. So just, I don't want to say IGN is a little bit more cultured when it comes to that and finding the right people to vote for that category, but I know the Tokyo Anime Award Festival is, and for them to sit there and say this is the one that should win, I think that speaks volumes to it. But again, we all came to the same conclusion that Crunchyroll is more of a popularity contest at the end of the day. But any parting shots, saved rounds, anything for the crew before we say goodbye?
I just want to give one more parting shot to that time we started an anime podcast.
Whoop,
I know that
whoop.
was kind of in the middle, but at the end, they did show up. They also were with us as we did a combined podcast together.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, this was like, what, a month ago?
Yep.
Great
With that
time.
episode that came
Must be
out,
proud.
that's already out, part 1. Please watch it. It was a great time. These guys are freaking awesome. They have great opinions, and the conversation was awesome. Please tune in. Part 2 is to be determined of when that's going to come out. And thanks, guys, so much for tuning into our show and providing those comments. We love you guys as always, and can't wait to work with you guys in the future. Again.
Agreed.
Same. So without any other words, shout out to Cutting Edge Hero who stopped by as well. Make sure to check them out. They don't cover anime as in depth as we do, but shout out to Jen who just joined them. She does have a segment where she does talk about some anime news that's out and about. So make sure to check them out as well over on Cutting Edge Hero. And that'll pretty much wrap it up. Expect this obviously is going to be a 2-parter. So we'll kind of divide it and find a good spot to split it between the categories. And we'll probably just put out the single videos of us discussing each category as smaller bites. Also upload those as well, so you can just get straight to the video or this category you want to hear and listen to our thoughts about it. And also share your opinions in the comments as well. Outside of that, this has been an amazing show. we were going to have some other topics to talk about, but once these award things came out, we were like, we got to talk
Gotta
about
touch
this.
on it.
We
Yeah,
got to
gotta
talk
touch
about
on
it.
Yeah.
Oh, and just a real quick thanks, Kampachi. You always have our back.
Yeah.
And Amanda, thanks for showing up and looking forward to collaborating with you as well. So,
Oh, yeah. June 8th. June 8th.
Oh, that's Amanda. She's the June 8th.
Yeah.
yes, we're going to be collaborating with them on June 8th. So, look forward to that as well.
On the Pop Anime podcast, I think is what it's called. So we'll be talking about, what is it?
We're going to be talking about Witch and
Watch.
Which Watch?
To Be Hero X.
Yep.
So, or Witch Watch. I'm sorry, Witch Watch. Sorry, Witch. Thinking foods. You know, the like sandwich.
The sandwich shop. Yeah, man.
You know,
Which? We're hungry.
I'm hungry. But Witch Watch and To Be Hero X, which are both very interesting. So we'll be going over that.
Indeed. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. It's been a long show for those that took the ride with us the whole time. We appreciate it. For those who are tapping in later and checking out the episodes as they release, we thank you for your support as well. Check us out over on the YouTube channel. I see we're growing a little bit. Keep it up. We love it. It lets us know that what we're doing is legit. So I don't want to say bye for everybody. So I'll speak for myself. I'm the homie Mac, a.k.a. your boy.
I'm EJ. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate you.
Jack attack! Yeah.
Y'all take care. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.